Good evening. It's me. It's Matthew. It's one half of the Parking Lot Journals. I just wanted to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and I wanted to say thank you so much for listening to us ramble and go on and on. It's certainly a passion project of ours, and anyone who's been there so far, I would say since day one, but it's a little early to say that. But nonetheless, I just wanted to thank you all for listening, those who are listening, and a happy American Thanksgiving. We will see you when part 2 of episode 2 comes out because we recorded for far too long. I hope everything goes well. I hope the stuffing is cooked well and good, and I hope the turkey is not too dry. Thank you guys. Enjoy. Bye-bye. It went down I forget where it went down. It went down off the coast of Nova Scotia, and he just, I don't know.
That's one that I haven't heard of. I might have heard of it, but I don't have the details internal.
He did a really good documentary on it. It was he'd use Unreal Engine and simulated all the people. It just smashed into this rock because the captain was below deck getting laid with a girl that he wasn't supposed to be getting laid with. And he's like, I can just feel something's happening, so I'm going for it. But then the second in command was, I guess, totally fucking incompetent. So he left him in charge, and then I forget what it was. They turned towards Nova Scotia, I think, for more coal or whatever, and they were supposed to go to New York, and they just turned too late because their navigation was all fucked, was all foggy, and they hit a rock, and then the lanterns all went out because they were all oil lanterns, so the place was pitch fucking black, and they lost every woman and child on the ship.
So this was a passenger ship. It wasn't a fishing vessel off of Nova Scotia.
No, correct. This was not a fishing. This was not the. No, I was gonna say this is not the Edmund Fitzgerald, but that wasn't a fishing vessel either. That was an iron ore cargo ship.
Oh yeah,
26,000 tons more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. Is your gain up?
I just feel you didn't really go down unless there was a banger song about it.
At the end of the day, that's a pretty good way to measure it, I think.
I mean, so,
it's
or a book or a movie,
or maybe both.
Maybe both.
Maybe
the
both.
Perfect Storm. Which we're going to talk about every episode.
Was that a book?
It was. It was honestly one of the best books. Sebastian Junger wrote it, and he went down. He was working as a tree climber somewhere in Massachusetts, which was and he wanted to do a series on dangerous jobs, and so he wanted to do wildland fire and fishermen, and I think tree climbers, maybe.
It's based on a true story, though, right? It was all.
Oh no! This was an investigative.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Type deal. So he went down to Gloucester, talked to all of the families. He he interviewed everybody he could in the fishing industry. He interviewed anybody who'd worked on the Grand Banks where they went down. And he was just what would a common day for the Andrea Gale, the ship that went down, look like? You know what I mean? Yeah. How would they set their traps? What time would they be up? What would they be wearing? You know what I mean? What jobs would each person be doing? And what would Billy Time, the captain of the Andrea Gale, what would he be seeing and saying to his crew, hey, we got a storm coming in, here are our options. So it was really good. It was. Honestly, I think in Massachusetts it's required reading for all 8th graders or something.
For 8th, oh word, okay.
So it's honestly probably one of the better investigative pieces I've ever read. He just gives its best guess on you know what I mean, with all this information, you know what I mean.
It's kind of spooky about that shit,
Oh yeah.
Because that's there's so many things like that nowadays, especially with shipwrecks.
So yeah, this is I've tried to explain to I think Renee and Tyler, you know what I mean,
how they can't find the black box
for
boats.
Yeah. And they're and Tyler's well, technology is so advanced. I was technology didn't save the Andrea Gale, bro. They still can't find that thing. EPIRB washed up on Sable Island, and they were that was the last clue they got of them. And I think maybe an oil drum.
Is that what it's called? The EPIRB?
Yep. So it's not a black box. It just gives your location. It's like once it hits the water, it kind of like activates and it's like, hey, like distress at this location. So it gives like the Coast Guard a starting point.
Right, so they know at least where you were like, oh, fuck. Or not even really. They just kind of estimate, like, this is probably where they said, oh, fuck, we're going down.
So, like, they can also send, like, other boats, like, in the area to be like, hey, check it out. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, like, that shit doesn't work all the time. Like, you know what I mean?
No, I mean, it sounds very flawed, and it sounds
I'm sure it's come
very
a long
imperfect.
way, though, now.
Well, I imagine, dude.
But, like, I guarantee you, like, it still probably happens today. Like, you know what I mean? Who knows what the fuck's going to happen on the ocean?
Dude, the ocean scares the fuck out of me. Any big body of water scares the shit out of me because of
like
how...
Like Gitchagumi?
Yeah, just like Gitchagumi, dude. Dude, I have been... Dude, that fucking wreck...
It's lived in your mind, like, rent-free, like, quicksand.
Dude, I think about the Edmund Fitzgerald. I mean, given I think about it every time the song comes on my fucking podcast. Not my playlist. There we go. But it's, dude, the whole fucking thing is I just saw a simulation of it on Instagram, and it was quite frankly a fucking bad one. Because they, like, it just slowly showed the ship like sinking into the water. It didn't show like how it got fucking breached, didn't show anything like that, and it just kind of bothered the shit out of me. I mean, considering the fact that they had a ship that was like right behind them for a number of miles and was like kind of like right there with them the whole time, and then they went black, they lost them, and then that was just it. They floated off into the fog, and then that was the last time anyone saw the fucking Edmund Fitzgerald. And they found bodies. That's a whole kind of a rumor, a myth, I should say, that they never found any bodies.
Did find the bodies?
They found one body, and they assessed it was probably one of the people that ran the cargo hold. But yes, they dove with a submarine, I think, in the 90s.
They found that wreck, right? Like
it split like the Titanic.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're pretty sure.
How long until you think like a rich person tries to go seize that and blows up?
Well, Canada was like, don't go there. So I don't know if anyone can go there now, but
I wouldn't. That to me was like my grandmother was chastising me. She's like, "How can you make fun of?" I was like, "Because people have to go out on the ocean to make a living, like every day."
Oh, you were talking about the submarine?
Yeah. The submersible that like blew up. I feel bad for the kid.
Oh, it did blow up, dude. Right.
I feel bad for the kid because he didn't want to be there, but the father I have like knows him. Like, dude,
the kid didn't want to be there.
No, he was like, I'm terrified, but it's Father's Day, so I'm gonna go. Like, sounds like something I like when I was a little kid. Like, my dad would be like, "Let's go fucking hunting in like 0-degree weather," and I'd be like, "Well, I feel bad about like not hanging out with my dad, so I'm gonna try it." But then like 2 hours in, I'd be like, "I'm going home."
This was a mistake.
And then I'd have to walk home like in the dark through the woods, which was. But my dad always used to make fun. He's like, "You have a fucking rifle."
You're hitching a ride. You're like, get your thumb out.
Oh, dude, he used to make fun of me and my cousin. He'd be like, "Okay," like, he's like, "I don't understand, like, what's, like, making you, like, you're walking back with enough firepower to take down a bear." Like, you know what I mean? And, like, my cousin would be like, "What about cougars?" And he'd be like, we'd be on the power line. So they're, like, I don't know if you, like, spend a lot of time on power lines. There's not a lot of trees, like, obviously.
Oh, like where they clear cut for them?
Yeah, they run the power through. So, like, he'd be like, what do you think the cougar's going to do? Walk along the fucking wires? And I'd be like, fair point.
Yeah, it's like, do you have a rifle too? It's like what, bolt action too?
Yeah.
So it's like, you ever tried to, shoot I don't know, like I think about playing video games where it's like
Red Dead?
The one gun I don't want when I'm facing a cougar is a bolt action single shot. Like I want something that
you won't even hear them. You won't even hear them. I have to be honest, that is one of my biggest fears, like
yes.
Real life biggest fears is actually running into a cougar in Red Dead.
Oh, you mean like just in the game?
Yeah. Dude, they come out of nowhere and then you lose all your pelts and you're like, well, fuck, the last 4 hours were for nothing.
Does that happen if you put your pelts on your horse?
Yeah.
Still? Even if you put your
Not in Red Dead Online, but on the game. So, like, I was playing yesterday because, like, I had played so much online. I was like, dude, I haven't finished the story yet. Like,
word, you haven't?
No, I'm like on chapter 6 and I was like, fuck it. Like, I'll just hop over here. Like, I already know like a majority of what happens.
Right.
I'm not going to spoil it for anybody else.
It's kind of hard, at this point to not know what happens,
but,
I feel like.
I was just like, fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? I've grinded out like $10,000 online. Let me go fucking see.
$10,000,
Dude, the fucking prices. They're real about the fucking being the 1890s. 10,000, you're a millionaire.
Well, and I heard there's like a huge like discrepancy between like value of the dollar versus single player.
Yeah, because the prices of like guns are like, oh, you're 600 for like a repeater, and you're like, what the
and it's
fuck?
like 50 in single player.
Yeah, like, so it becomes problematic, but they've kind of fixed it a little bit. It's whatever. But like, I played like 4 hours online when we had moved to Beaver Hollow, and I was like, let me get all these, like, as much meat and fur as I can, and I'm going to try to craft some shit, like, because this is my last chapter with Arthur. So I was like, fuck it. And I'm like wrapping up all my side missions, like with Albert, who's an idiot.
Albert?
The guy who takes photos of wildlife. And,
Wait.
like, Arthur's always like, don't stand there, you're going to get eaten.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to stand there and just get fucking
I feel like
attacked.
it's a very Tyler and me relationship, like... Hey, hey!
Is
Like,
Tyler
nature is lovely. I love nature. Nah, Tyler is much more like there's a perfect description of our relationship when we're outdoors and why it works. Is that, like, I heard it about South Pole explorers, and like it was like this guy viewed nature as something to be won or lost, and like this other guy was like there to like explore the science of it. Like, you know what I mean? I always like when I step out my front door and into the woods, I'm always like, there is, not always, but like in the back of my mind, there's a small percentage like God don't come back. Like, you know what I mean? Something crazy could, like, even just walking into your back woods, like a tree could fall on you.
It's to you, it's something to win or lose, essentially. Isn't that what you just said? It's like the I mean, I think you were being more like hypothetical about it.
But I don't see it like if I don't get to the top of Katahdin, I lose. But like,
Right.
I see it as win or lose. Like, I either come home or I don't. Like, you know what I mean? Lose, I don't come home. I mean, maybe I did win. Maybe I saw a spot and I was like, I'm making a cabin here.
Yeah, dude, you set up like a little Unabomber shed and you just...
Out in Montana, I would not be a Unabomber. But set up a shack out in Montana like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Like the Hermit that lived up north.
Dude, that shit kind of creeps me out. Like, even though he was kind of harmless.
Yeah, he wasn't no.
He was stealing shit to survive, but it was like from
Right.
a camp, so like, you know what I mean? Like, it was really luxury items for people if you think about it.
For some reason, I was like, didn't he like shit on the floor in people's cabins?
He
But
might have.
I don't think he did. I think that was someone I went to high school with, actually, that did that. So if the Hermit's listening, I'm sorry for defaming you, but you weren't the one that shit on the floor. I think that was actually right up the road from here.
It took him a while to catch him too. Like, he was actually pretty good about it.
Yeah, dude, he was.
Game wardens had to set up like the trail cams.
Have you read the book about him?
No,
It's
is it good?
really fucking good.
I
It
know.
reads a lot like a like the toxic relationship. You know, it's almost kind of like I don't know if you know about like Truman Capote when he was investigating the in cold blood murders.
I know some facts about it. Yeah.
But like, he ended up getting like really close to one of the murderers, and to the point that he like felt bad when they were going to execute him. Because spoiler alert, I guess I don't know. I'll break that rule for a movie that's 20 years old. But you know, this guy's getting executed, and Truman Capote's like, you know, he's a cold-blooded murderer, you know. But of course, the movie kind of frames it that he's, you know, the gentle one and the one that kind of got pushed into it and yada yada yada. And that's kind of what this book is about. It's kind of like, you know, the guy writing the book, and then the hermit himself, who's like very quiet and keeps to himself, and he's very fucking weird. But he looks like the lead singer of like a post-hardcore band from Brooklyn, from what he was described as. And
It's easier for me to understand like why you got close to him than why I get why you would get close to somebody who you're investigating, like even if they're like in the wrong, like, you know what I mean? Because you spend so much time with them, essentially they become part of your life. But like for me, like understanding the hermits, like I just don't want to be here, like in society with you people.
Oh yeah.
Is like way easier than like, oh well, you know, he was talked into that brutal murder of a family of 5.
Well, and that's certainly in a lot of ways a case of this is apples and this is dragon fruit.
They're not even oranges. Like, this isn't a common fruit. This is a fuck. Truman Capote was a great writer, but a weird dude from what I remember. Like, we didn't like read his stuff directly. We read To Kill a Mockingbird, and like obviously one of the characters in that is based off of Truman Capote.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
not? Oh yeah, him and Harper Lee were best friends as children.
Yes, because Harper Lee's in fucking the Capote movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
in the Capote movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they were good friends, and so like we did like a little brief touch on like what is the name of his like her odd little friend in that. Like she.
Oh fuck.
That's Capote. Is the weird.
Oh really? Yeah, that would make kind of sense. Yeah.
He was a quiet and shy like kid, like you know.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because, like, I mean, at least in the movie, he was kind of like not a loud mouth, but he was a, I don't remember much about it. I'm probably
I kind of want to watch it now.
It's pretty good. I'll give you the DVD if you want to have it up. I think I have it up. Oh, no, I may have sold it. I can't remember. I may have given it to Bull Moose for new records.
For crack money.
For crack. I sold it for crack. Yeah, give a couple blowjobs, too.
I'll give you suck your dick for crack.
It's like the 2 blowjobs aren't enough. Throw in a copy of Capote on DVD.
They specifically requested that because that's a Capote move.
Yeah, it is a Capote move. I think he gay. I think he was gay.
I'm pretty sure he was.
The way Philip Seymour Hoffman portrayed him was certainly pretty.
I don't like want to be like one of those people like Gaydar, but like when I was reading his character like as a little kid, I was like, oh, this kid's definitely like a little out there. Like he's different than like a normal 1940s, like, you know what I mean, Boy Scout. Like not in a bad way, but I was just like, he's different. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you know how he talked?
No.
He talked like that's such a fucking bad, bad impersonation of it. Talk like this, and
the Southern gentry,
a very very thick Southern drawl.
Well, you know who did that was one of my favorite character portrayals, probably up there with Heath Ledger and the Joker, was Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday, put on like a Southern gentleman's accent. Wow, Wyatt, I am rolling.
What movie is that?
I'm telling you, you got to watch Tombstone.
Oh, is that the one based on the HBO show?
No, that's Deadwood, which is also great. Deadwood is great, and the guy who plays the villain in Deadwood, he's also in John Wick. He's not even real.
Oh, fucking A. I can't think of his name, but it's like the really like the.
He's got like black hair, mustache.
I can't think of the word. Yeah, he's got a very very noticeable look. I'll look.
Yeah, he looks like a leather handbag in his face.
He looks like a leather handbag.
But he's a great actor. Not Daniel Day-Lewis, but like levels of great. But
Ian McShane.
Yep, Ian McShane, great actor. He was excellent in Deadwood. Like he plays like this shady, evil like brothel owner, and like he has like a relationship with the Chinese guys.
Sick.
So like he like goes to one China guy for like he calls him the Chinaman.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and he goes to him for everything about like relations between him and the Chinese population. What? And like they don't even speak the same language, Matt. They like literally get by drawing pictures to each other, which is hilarious and like you got to figure like somewhat true, like you know.
He's
what
like,
I mean?
look at this Chinaman, and it's just like a stick figure with like a massive dick.
I can't even. I want to show you a scene from it, but like I don't know if we'll get like in trouble. Like it's hilarious. Like he's like trying to convey something to them.
No, if it's from a source, it should be fine. Like as long as it's not what's it called?
Just a racist rant.
Right. Yeah. I mean, ideally, but as long as like they say like from source to score, when a scene there's music in the background that's source, but when it's like a part of the score, they call it score. So as long as it's not score, it should be fine. But Ian McShane was the one that I think Rolling Stone was like, if they make a Red Dead Redemption 2 movie, he should play Dutch.
He could play Dutch. Oh my god!
I think I also saw someone say that Daniel Day-Lewis should play Dutch, and that to me is a better option.
Daniel Day-Lewis is like so much more like when he goes. I guess like he could play Shades, but like when he played, I was actually just watching a huge thing, like 3 or 4 different breakdowns of his portrayal of Daniel Plainview.
I don't know. Oh, that's
from There Will Be Blood.
Right, yeah. Another
like,
appearance on the podcast.
Ian McShane.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 2.
And then I watched something on him and Bill the Butcher, which he just when he goes evil, he goes too evil to be Dutch, I think.
Who, Daniel?
Yeah. I haven't seen him in a role where he's kind of like shades of evil.
I had a goddamn plan.
Oh, by the way, like first off, so I'm playing
Lord,
Red
forgive
Dead,
me.
and I find that there's like some big problems in Red Dead. Like,
Yeah?
I feel like at what point?
Sound off.
I don't know. Like I just feel like if it was me, and you know what? I'm not Arthur. I was never an orphan. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like he didn't take me in, but like at what point are you gonna be like, this man is out of his fucking mind? When he showed up and shot Cornwall, I was like, that should have been it. Like I would have been, if this was me personally, I would have been like, it's been nice knowing you, Dutch. Thanks for everything. I'm outie. Like I'm gonna try to convince as many women and children to come with me. Like, and the whole value of that gang is like John, Charles,
Sadie.
Hosea. John, Charles, Hosea, Javier, I guess.
Sadie.
I'm so sorry, Sadie. I was actually thinking this last night. I was like, why didn't Arthur just take those 5 people and was like, we're starting our own gang. See ya. Right. Sadie too. Yes, Sadie.
No, it's 100%. I mean, I remember when we were hanging out, I think it was one of my old friends. I can't remember who it was, but you were talking, we were on Xbox. You were talking way back when, and you had like friends on 2K that were talking about how, they thought Red Dead 2 story was overrated and that it was like they were talking about, like, what was it? I think they were talking about like the Batman Arkham games and whatnot, and those being fucking my hair got tied up. Now the Arkham games have a better story and whatnot. I mean, without comparing it to anything, I mean it's one of those things where if you've seen pretty much any piece of media about a gang, there's a pretty good chance that they're going to break up at the end. You know what I mean? And there's like an element of predictability to the whole thing, especially when certain things get revealed. Like, and you're not all the way at the end, obviously, but when some things get revealed.
I already know that Mike is a Pinkerton. I had my...
Dude, that to me is like the fucking biggest, like it's so, it would have been so much more interesting for Molly to be the rat. And
Yeah.
But
or Dutch actually was like working with the Pinkerton.
Yeah, dude.
It wouldn't have made any goddamn sense. Like, it would have...
No.
But like,
you could find a way to make it make sense,
right?
Well, I mean, Dutch at the end of the day has always been a survivalist, and that's why he formed the gang, was so that he could fucking, strengthen numbers and whatnot. You know, most gangs are usually started by someone who's afraid to die alone.
I think if we look at like historical gangs, like the mafia, Irish mob, like. And the Chinese syndicate.
Well, like outlaw mob.
Oh, okay.
Outlaw
like just
gangs,
a random collection of people. Not I'm living in poverty.
Organized crime, like the mafia. Like I think you bring up a good point when you talk about. Well, I'm like shoving the mic in my mouth. You
Truman Capote.
Throw it down
for you.
I would not put the mic in my mouth and suck on it like a cock. With organized crime, like it starts from a place of poverty, and then they're like, "Look at yous, we're in charge here. Hey, this is my strip club.
Bada bing!
Get your hands off the women,
Tony.
Tony. Go down to the deli or the bakery and get me some cannoli and Sfogliadelle."
There's always a guy named Tony. It doesn't matter if you're in the Chinese, Irish, Italian,
Tony,
Puerto Rican mob.
Paulie.
There's always a actually Paul. Besides the Chinese mob, there's probably like a Paulie in every fucking white mob.
Pretty. In the Irish mob?
Probably. There's not a lot of Pauls in Ireland.
Paulie.
I think Paul's like more of a Protestant name.
You say Paulie in an Irish accent, it starts to sound kind of like Paul, like Paulie wants a cracker type shit.
Paulie.
So fucking an Irishman just won. I don't know why I'm telling you this because I don't think you know anything about the barracks, but an Irishman for the second year in a row just won probably the biggest flat ground skate competition.
Really?
Yeah, and there's pretty much no skate parks and it rains every day there. So, but that was
dude. I was actually watching something. Yeah, I'm speaking of like things that Ireland, like Team Ireland played like Team Iran in like some sort of hockey game.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I don't usually say this, but I was like, I could probably play for Team Ireland. They have like one rink in the entire country. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless they're using like ancestral shit, like, you know what I mean?
And the way they play over in the UK is like intense.
Is it? Well, like, yeah, it's just somebody just got their fucking.
Well, that's
I know it was an accident.
That's entirely.
I shouldn't be laughing at it.
That's entirely different.
That's getting crazy. The police are investigating that.
Now, I'm curious. Now, did you see like an actual news source for that, or did you see like someone commenting that?
Yeah. Like a legit news source too, not like some crazy fan's blog. Like
It's like poor
the
guy's
only
name.
reason I think they're investigating is because he had prior incidents.
Well, because he's known for being like
Chippy.
I mean, which I hate to say it, he did lead the league in penalty minutes, which I guess is probably the biggest indicator. But
Yeah.
from what I've heard, that whole league is just a goon fest. Like it's worse
Good.
than.
Love it. I gotta go see a game then.
Yeah, we gotta fly over there.
A little slap shot.
Matthew Petgrave.
Slap shot goon action out there.
For those who don't know, we're talking about Adam Johnson, who was I think 28 years old. He's a former NHL player. It just was one of those things where either way, I don't want to ruin it by saying, he's former because he's not good. He just he didn't make the cut.
Didn't pan out.
It didn't pan out. It's a great way to put it. And
That's what coaches love to say to people.
it's just not going to work out.
It's not
kid.
panning out, man. We're sending you to the minors.
The PTO, you're getting cut.
Can you imagine if I'm pretty sure that's like how I've been fired from most like blue collar jobs. Like the guys just were like, it's not panning out, man. Like you don't have the skills I'm looking for. Like which is exactly what a coach says to you before he's about to cut you.
You're like, what do pans have anything to do with this, man? We're not cooking. You fucking asshole! All right, I'm trying to dig a hole here.
I've never been fired from digging holes.
You fuck. He's like, no,
It's
it's
from a
not.
roofing job.
He's like, it's not working out. I'm like, no, I'm not working out. I'm working, bro. You see a fucking dumbbell? Matthew. So Adam Johnson, former NHLer. He's playing in Nottingham, UK, somewhere. I'm guessing in England, not the other parts of the UK that are okay.
Yeah, I think he was in, I want to say Nottingham.
Yeah. And what I've deemed a freak accident, which a lot of people are deeming murder.
I don't think it's a murder either. I'm with Matt. Maybe like he meant to do something with his skate, but I don't think he meant to fucking slit his throat open.
Well, it's definitely something, dude. Like, it was essentially a freak accident that happened. A little collision on the ice. Depending on slowing it down, like I did, it looks like the boot clips another boot and it kind of rides up.
Is that his own? It was either his own. Well, there's only two options on which he was like he clipped the guy before him, right? Like almost like a leg check, and his leg went up. That's what I was thinking. People were like he doesn't even touch him, and I was like, I don't like the film I've seen is so grainy. I'm like I can't. Like from my perspective of playing hockey, I was like that guy clipped that guy's leg. He lost his balance. But I can't for definite say I've got to see good footage. I've only watched 3 different ones on it, and each one was grainy as shit.
Yeah, there's not really a 4K option to watch. It's just I think okay. I mean, given the videos I've watched, they cut out before he starts
bleeding
or clutching his neck. Gosh, rest in peace. But essentially it was a freak accident. A guy's skate rode up and slit essentially someone else's throat, Adam Johnson's throat. Rest in peace. He died hours later at the hospital. They had to evacuate the stadium because of how bad it was.
The guy who clipped him it's become a racial thing too on top of it. So even if it is a murder, let's say he's like, I'm gonna, which I think is crazy, because why in the middle of the game would you be like, I'm gonna slit this guy's throat with all these witnesses?
Well, and I think that's people are like, well, he doesn't say that, but he says I'm gonna try and hit him as hard as possible. And it's I think he did maybe try to make contact.
Right.
But if you watch the video, break it down, the boot collides with another player, and then you can clearly see his foot going 3 different directions.
Right.
Which, in my opinion, is indicative of shitty ice. Which it's not NHL quality ice. It's very it's ice that they just have to work with. And his foot essentially he loses his balance in the process of trying to turn and hit Adam Johnson, and it's a perfect storm of shit that just results in that foot flying up and clipping the poor guy in the throat. I guess he was 29. He wasn't 28. Forgive me. Petgrave skate during a game in England. Johnson.
I can't remember the guy's name, but I don't think he
Who?
Maybe the guy who accidentally cut him.
Petgrave. Matthew Petgrave. Yeah.
Petgrave. And I like I said, I don't think it was one of those things. This is my worst case scenario in my head. It wasn't one of those things where he was I'm premeditating this. You know what I mean? I know I'm gonna cut him with my skate. Not premeditated murder. I think it was one of those things. Maybe he was gonna throw a dirty hit or something. You know what I mean? And it just, like you said, he caught either the ice or somebody's leg, and Like, cause you can see him coming like halfway across the ice, like, you know what I mean? Which
he's definitely turning into him. Yeah.
yeah, like maybe a charge. Like I didn't count his footsteps, but he went a distance to get to him.
They were both moving in the same direction from what I remember, and Johnson had the puck. It's not like it was an interference call too.
It wasn't like severely fucking like Donald Brashear and what's his name? The fucking guy who tomahawked him in the head.
Ross Ray.
Basically like the fucking. He was Gretzky's enforcer.
Oh, McSorley. Like, and by the way, my dad talked to my uncle like after that happened. Yeah. And like my uncle, they were like both from Charlestown, and like my uncle goes, who's like a colonel in the Marine Corps, he goes, it wasn't that bad. I've seen worse. Athletes are soft.
This guy was like in the hospital for like months. McSorley says like he was like, I wasn't even trying to like hurt him. I was like trying to get his attention and be like, come on, fucking fight me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about. I don't know. I was just. I don't know, man. Like, if you're trying to throw a hit that's going to be like, say he makes contact with Adam Johnson. His skate blade does not cut his neck. He does not die, but it is a dirty hit. You know, does that change the nuance of what happened? You know what I mean? Does that make you say, well, then maybe there is a reason to try him for attempted? It's not. I don't think
you can try him for attempted murder. I think it's stupid to try somebody for assault in a game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, unless it's blatant, like me and you are like on the bench and I jump across the bench and start pounding the shit out. Even then, dude, like people have come into the stands in hockey and beat the shit out of people.
That was back when they were like smoking in bars and beating their wives, and they were like, whatever. They're like, he's okay. That's just Jim.
Fan interaction.
It's good. It's engagement. Yeah. It's good content, bro.
We're reaching out to the fans with our fists and their own shoes.
Well, it's like when the Rangers, when Artemi Panarin was. I mean, depending on who you ask, the Rangers would probably say that Tom Wilson assaulted Artemi Panarin on the ice, but because Artemi Panarin pretty much was like not involved in the skirmish or whatever, and then like Tom Wilson went up to him and like ripped him fucking down and started beating the shit out of him on the ice, like fucking like what Sean Thornton did to Brooks Orpik years ago, and all of fucking hockey Twitter was like, ban Thornton, but like Tom Wilson does it to Artemi Panarin and no one says shit because it's Tom Wilson.
Which one? Oh no, I'm thinking of Matt Cook.
Yeah, Matt Cook was.
I'm about to say I don't blame him for beating the shit out of Matt Cook.
Yeah, because I remember Matt Cook knocked out Mark Savard, and then Sean Thornton and Matt Cook fought, I think, the next game, and Matt Cook lost handedly.
Sean Thornton.
I do. I miss Sean Thornton. Sean Thornton's great.
He's one of the last great enforcers.
I mean, like, it's one of those things where I watch him play, like, highlights, and it's like, this dude wasn't even a fucking enforcer. Like, this dude, like, in the
he had a nasty slap shot.
In the traditional sense, you remember that penalty shot he took against Winnipeg?
No.
Oh, he forehand backhanded the fuck out of the goalie. The guy's jock strap was in the rafters, bro. And this is a guy who, like, got maybe 11 minutes of ice time every night, maybe.
I mean, like, yeah, I think enforcers. He wasn't like a traditional enforcer. Like, he actually had like some skill.
Well, he was our tough guy. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, but he definitely was like. There's a reason he got 11 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? They were like, this guy's going out there when we need to either get some energy,
right,
or like we have an issue, like we need to sort out like Cook. Like, you know, or Burroughs. They brought him back out.
Burroughs, dude.
Like, when he bit that, like, was it Bergeron, right? He bit Bergeron or licked... No, Bergeron licked somebody. Burroughs bit somebody.
Yes. Burroughs, I think it was someone's finger.
Was it Bergeron?
It may have been Bergeron. I can't remember.
And then the next game, they were like, Sean, buddy, we need you. It's your time. But I don't even think he was on the roster until that game. For the playoffs. Oh,
you mean you think he kind of sat for the whole...
I don't know if... I forget. How does it work in the playoffs? Like, can't you bring people up still from the AHL?
Yeah, there's a lot of black aces, stuff like that. Yeah, it was Bergeron's finger. You're right.
Yeah, I think he was sitting on the bench. He was either on the bench or he wasn't even dressing. And then, like, the next game, he actually got, like, playing time. Like, the entire playoffs, he didn't get playing time.
That would make sense. That would make sense. They played that whole fucking playoffs very weird, though, when they brought in Sagan for 2 games in round 1, saved us. And then they were like, no, you're sitting. And he just fucking sat and collected his ring, and now he's in Dallas. I do miss Sean Thornton, though.
I miss Sean Thornton more than I miss Sagan. Not this. Obviously, Sagan's the better player.
Well, Sagan didn't really turn out the way anyone wished or hoped. He kind of just like, I think he's playing
Ultimate
like.
frat, bro.
He kind of is. He kind of is.
I mean, respect to him. He's got the skill, and he's definitely slaying the ladies. Like, I watched this interview where they, like, did his crib, and I was like, that guy is fucking that reporter tonight.
Unreal. He's married now. He just got married this summer.
Maybe on paper.
Maybe on paper. He didn't really turn out he didn't really turn out the way that anyone thought. Like, I think he's like 2nd or 3rd line now, but he was 2nd overall.
He kind of broke away with Dallas. Like, he kind of took off with him and Ben.
Oh, he took off. Yeah, I'm saying, like, Ben, I think, is playing like 3rd line time now, and
he's way older than Sagan, though, right? Or am I wrong on that?
I can't remember. I can't honestly remember.
Jamie Benn.
I
remember him.
Jamie Benn has me blocked on Twitter.
Dude, how many NHL stars have you got that blocked you on Twitter?
Well, because Jamie Benn, the captain of the Dallas Stars, was shitting on Jason Demers, former Coyote, who was a star at that point, because like he said something like, he was like, I don't know, the nuance of it was like, he was like, yeah, okay, Demers, everyone knows that you bunch mocks. This
like, so like literally the argument from The Sopranos.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like when he's fucking making fun of Junior, like, I heard you like tuna.
I don't go down there very often. Well, I heard something was like, oh, I hear that's bullshit or something like that. I don't know. Something along those lines. I don't remember that shit very well.
I can't believe that team didn't win a cup.
What, the Stars?
Yeah, when they had Ben and Sagan going, and they had like a third.
They got Rupe Hintz right now. Their top line's Robertson, Hintz, and fucking Pavelski, which is money, and then everything else after that is like.
Who was the guy from the Bruins that had like a heart attack on the bench?
Oh, Rich Peverly. I gotta hit this nail out of this wall. Rich Peverly.
All right, that guy had a heart attack on the bench. And then that year they gave the ESPY for like courage or like perseverance to like Bruce Jenner. And I was like, no disrespect to Bruce Jenner. Or sorry, what's her name? No. Caitlyn Jenner. No disrespect to Caitlyn Jenner. But the dude had a heart attack on the bench and then got back out on the ice. Like,
no, I think he left the game.
I thought he went back.
No, he collapsed on the bench and they resuscitated him on the bench and then they carried him away.
But he was back that season, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was 100% back.
My point stands regardless. Like, that's still crazy. Like, if I had a heart attack, like...
Well, that whole argument could be made for pretty much anything. I mean, you could say that...
Yeah, that's true. It's very...
a firefighter who risks their lives should deserve more recognition than
that is my stance.
Well, I mean, you don't blame me for that. I gotta fucking stop yawning. I was drinking a Monster.
But you're right. It's a very subjective award on what, like, you have to define courage. Like, and you know what I mean? There's different forms of courage.
I mean, there's an element where it's like, I'm pretty sure to this day, Bruce / Caitlyn Jenner is still getting shit on from pretty much everyone
every direction.
Pretty much every direction. I mean, obviously, there are going to be people who
I can't
don't
believe
give
they
a
won
shit.
Woman of the Year. They won Woman of the Year.
Was that the year that they switched?
Yeah, I don't know. He won a bunch of awards, and I was just like, this is kind of crazy.
I just remember that episode. Did you ever watch the Cabin with Bert Kreischer?
No.
He had. I think they were her at that point. I don't remember, but it's like all these funny people coming on the show, and like all these comedians, and then like this one episode where it's like Caitlyn Jenner's on the fucking show with Bert Kreischer, and it's like, what the fuck? I mean, you know who Bert is, right? Yeah. And Bert's like the biggest,
the machine.
Bert's like a legitimate frat boy, and then she shows up and she's like, I don't know, Bert. I don't know what you're gonna do. And
she's actually pretty funny.
She's like, so because she went on Norm's podcast, and she was pretty good at Norm's show too.
I've watched her do like these golfing videos. They have like this group of comedians, like Instagram comedians, who sit behind you on your backswing, and they fucking shit on you.
Let's say people that.
Yeah. So like they're like, where do you? They're like, where do you pee now that you can't go out like directly on the course, right? And like she fucking took that in stride and like sent it right back in their face, and I was like, oh, good for her, good for her.
They're the guys that called Andrew Santino great value Bill Burr.
yeah. They're pretty funny too, dude. Like, but like they let her have it, and like she was like a great sport about it. Like, you know what I mean?
That's always refreshing to see.
Yeah, I like people who can like roll with the punches. Like,
Right, dude.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't just like. I feel like we live in a society where like people want to dish shit out, but they don't want to like the moment you like turn it on them. They're like, well, dude, that's like racist, sexist. Like, no. Like, you were just saying, like, all men this, all men that. Like, come on.
Well, and there's definitely, I mean, it's like a universal spectrum to all that shit, and I think that there is going to be people who say that shit, and I would agree that there's kind of a greater. I mean, there's such like a fucking emphasis on like the splitting of like behavior and everyone trying to categorize everything. Right. And I 100% agree where it's like they'll say all men, all women, or men want this, women want that. I don't know if it's a pandemic or an epidemic, whatever the fuck, but I definitely think that like there's an element. I mean, everyone knows that one person who can dish it but can't take it, and it's like, shut the fuck up. Which is why I just stopped dishing it, because I can't fucking take anything.
No, respect. Like, if you're like one of those people who like, I can't take it, then I can respect that. Like, and I'm not gonna like fucking beat up. Like, my family, we're definitely dish it and take it family.
Right.
And like, so like, respect to everybody in my family, because we dish it hard, but we also like take it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to take it on the nose.
I mean, sometimes you got to dish it. I mean, sometimes it's just one of those things where you have no choice. But like, I get honked at in public, and I'm like on the street, and I'm like,
because you're so famous.
And it's like, what? Yeah. I love the parking lot journals. I love your show. I'm like, thank you. Yeah, thanks for watching. This was what we do. But like, I get honked at in the fucking street, and like, I'm like, fucking asshole. And then 2 minutes later, I'm like, maybe I am a shitty driver. And it's like, I immediately get in my fucking head about all that shit.
Like, 6 people tried to pass. I was driving like mad slow up here because I was like just taking in the scenery like of like the towns. Like, the drive up here is really beautiful, and you go through like all of these towns with like traditional barns and all that. So like, people were like passing me, and I was like getting mad, and I was like, maybe I am driving like maybe a little too slow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's like 100 yards out in front of me when he just passed me.
Yeah, I mean, I usually think that way too. I mean, I don't know. I don't try not to worry about the
I'd rather you pass me, I guess, than like fucking sit behind me with your high beams up.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's also, I think some people are like, you're going 5 over the limit. What are you, fucking stupid? And then they're like, well, I want to go 15, 20 over the limit.
Exactly. Like,
and I always go 5 over the limit, and I always get my ass ridden, bro.
That shit drives Renee crazy. Is like she's like, I'm doing 5 over, and this guy's like up my ass. I'm like, I'll look back. I'll be like, he's like 200 yards behind you. Like, I mean, like, to me, that wouldn't bother me. Like, you know what I mean? And
right.
Like, she'll like be like, the speed limit here is like 55. And I'm like doing like 50. I'm like, shut up.
Oh, she'll kind of go both ways. Where it's like, you're not going fast enough.
Why aren't you going faster? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm definitely so settled into a Maine way of life. Like, I don't have to be anywhere like that quickly unless there's like court. Like,
right, unless, like there's a legal issue about it or whatnot. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all forgivable. I think,
That's why I love Ireland too. Like, nobody runs on like a clock in Ireland except the teachers and like the firefighters and like because they're all farmers, dude. Like, it's like by the sun, like, you know, like I'm gonna be there around noon. That could mean fucking anything. And Maine is kind of the same way, like in a lot of ways. So like I don't know, like that's kind of like how I live my life. Like, unless it's like for the wildland fire or something like. Or like an actual job, I'll be there around like 7, show up at 7:30.
Yeah.
Show up at like 6:50. Like, you know what I mean? It's whenever I decide, like, I've done enough, I've let the dogs out, I've fed them all.
I do the same thing, except I show up about 3 hours late.
I don't know if it's that bad. Well, it used to be that bad, but like I've gotten better with it.
I'll be like, I used to do that at the TV station. Like, he'd be like, try to get here around 9 or 10. I'd be like, all right, I'd show up at 12:30. I'd be like, hey, how you doing? What do we got to do?
Were you the guy with the clipboard from Goon there?
From what? From Goon?
The producer for Jay's show.
I'm sick and tired of your sweater vest police state censorship.
That's it. I'm out.
Fuck this. I'm out. Fuck you and fuck your sweater police state censorship.
You're the last caller on Hot Ice.
You're the last caller ever on Hot, and you can see the hopelessness in his eyes when he says that shit.
Suck 50 dicks.
Suck one dick in a row for 50 times. I don't know what the difference is.
You like corn dogs because you like dick in your mouth.
Fuck you, Rusty. Fuck you, whatever the fuck. Dale and Rusty.
So perfect.
It's the guys from Trailer Park Boys, and they're like,
oh
fuck
yeah,
you.
dude, it was them. A bunch of them. Leahy was the coach, right?
I don't know. I've never watched Trailer Park Boys.
I watched like
Should I watch Trailer Park Boys, Seamus?
the first few seasons are pretty funny.
But after that, no.
I don't know. I stopped after they like did this high speed chase in a trailer full of weed.
Oh, that sounds a little like it's a parody of itself.
Yeah.
And I haven't even seen it.
I mean, the first few seasons are just fucking. There's nothing better. Well, there's a shit ton better. That was. I don't know why I do that.
No, I mean that's the saying. Who cares? No, I definitely like. I've seen some clips, and it's like they'll be at like a slot machine, and the guy's like, "Spend all our money," and they're like, in Bubbles, or I think it's his name, and the guy with the big
Bubbles is
eyes,
hilarious.
he's like, "What do you mean you spent all our booze money?" And he's like, "That's just."
I'm gonna unload one on you.
I always say, because I got the way she goes, like I've gotten that from like Trailer Park Boys memes, and that's one of my favorite things. Where it's like I lost all our money playing slots, and the way she goes, Bubbles, that's the way she fucking goes.
I think my entire high school hockey team, like their entire dialogue, could have been probably copied and pasted out of Trailer Park Boys and Goon. Like,
yeah, there was a while it was like that with us for It's Always Sunny.
yeah, I love It's Always Sunny though. I mean, until recently, it has remained strong and relative. Until like with the season with the water park.
That was like the one good episode that season.
And I did like the one where they went to Ireland, but I thought it didn't really fit into the show.
Well, dude, it's like, I don't know, man.
They're never supposed to be emotional. Not like that. Like, they are emotional.
Well, and I think, and that's so funny like, hearing you say that, because to me, it's like that was the best part to me, was when Charlie had his moment on the mountain.
No, that's why I liked it.
Oh,
I was like,
word.
this doesn't really fit. Like, it's like the seventh season of Game of Thrones for everybody.
Right.
Like, where they're like, this is so well written. Like, I don't even like Game of Thrones, but like, this is everybody's perspective. Again, I'm generalizing, but most people's perspective was like up until season 6, like everything was, because they were copying the books, it was going so well. Then they had to write a bunch of shit themselves, and they were like, this, like everybody in the audience was like, this is nonsense. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's like when people talk about how the anime got ahead of the manga or whatever.
Yeah. With Full Metal Alchemist, that happened. There was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is like based, like page for page on the manga, and then Full Metal Alchemist, which is like they ran out of manga, so they were like, let's just make shit up, like, you know. So I'm with you, dude. It was a really great episode, but like like it just doesn't. For me, it doesn't fit into the puzzle. Like, it's like
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, no, I don't blame you. I mean, Charlie, the whole thing with Charlie and his dad and Frank, like, it's like when things start to get stressful in comedy shows, it's like you kind of start to lose me. Like, it's why I don't like the first, especially the second season of Seinfeld. Like, there are some gems in that season, like the Chinese restaurant, but it's like the whole arc where Jerry's trying to keep Elaine out of the building, and it's like, why can't you loan her $5,000? And it's like it gets stressful, and there are moments where it cuts away to a commercial break on like a serious note, and it's like, this is so fucking out of the fucking, like, what are we doing
so
here?
it like doesn't fit the rest of like the tone of the
Exactly.
series.
Like, it's such a, like, the rest of the show is so irreverent and so like,
I feel like that happens a lot with comedies though. Like Community, like the 4th and 5th seasons don't really fit. I don't want to say like they lose like kind of Dan Harmon had walked away at that point. I forget if he walked away in the 3rd season or the 4th, like at the start of it, but like,
so this is kind of the inverse, right? Because you're saying like it starts off irreverent and it kind of goes into more of
like it loses, like, so then like Troy leaves, I think, after the 4th season. The 4th season was all right. It was like some great episodes, some really shitty episodes, mixed bag. Whereas like those 3, the 1st season, they had to do a lot of like road work, like, you know what I mean, lay a foundation. So like the first few episodes are like your typical sitcom, like, and then like they start getting like kind of like meta about shit, and they're like, this is a normal plot line, like, that is always like kind of like analyzing the shit, and he's like, this is like what would happen in Friends.
Oh, and it starts to get really fucking just like down the middle. Just starts to become really fucking recognizable and kind of just, I don't want to say unoriginal, but just kind of like.
No, so that's where they gain their originality, is because Abed's pointing out like this is a trope, like, you know what I mean? Like every episode would start with the dean making an announcement, and he's like, that would be like the beginning of a show, like for most comedies.
Okay.
It's like hard to explain. You gotta like watch it, but like the first season's decent. The second season is fucking chef's kiss perfect, and then like the third season is solid as hell too.
Right.
The fourth season starts to fall apart. The fifth season starts to fall apart. Then the sixth season really like stuck the landing. So.
Oh, word. Well, I got to start watching more comedy shows, so maybe Community will be something I'll watch. I've been thinking about.
It's hard to get through the first.
Really?
It's not.
Well, could I skip to the second season and just be fine?
The first.
Or would I not get
probably like halfway through the first season is where you want to start.
Okay,
like watch like the first two, and then like they start like making jokes about like society and like how we view TV, like the TV formulas of life, like, you know what I mean? Like everything needs to be resolved in 30 minutes, and like, you know what I mean? It doesn't like get resolved. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard.
No, you're good. You're good.
Dan Harmon is a great producer.
I definitely think though, that's always for me the second comedy goes to shit is when it gets stressful, and It's Always Sunny. When they go to Ireland, it's like the whole thing where Charlie finds his real dad, and then Frank's like, it's like what I love is Charlie. What I love is Frank and Charlie. Dude,
right, yeah. They're just so casual and like themselves around each other.
Yeah, just being so fucking whacked out. Saying like the fucked up.
Like they're like hanging out under bridges.
Yeah, dude. They're literally hanging out under bridges, and I think even Charlie's like, you hang out with those weird people under a bridge. Lulu, wow, what is he? Luau. He told you he doesn't even know how to say it. But it's like the second that dynamic gets fucked up, it's like, like this is so not fun to watch.
Right.
Charlie and Frank dissolve is not funny. It's just kind of stressful because in some way you kind of know it's going to go the other way too. So it's like, well, it's predictable also, which is really fucking annoying in comedy.
Right, they're just going to get back together like nothing happened.
Like a couple almost,
yeah.
Which is just, then again, it's like even when there's relationship drama, especially unless it's very compelling, which it usually isn't in comedies, it's like, like, that's why I can't, like, I've thought about getting into The Office, but it's all like, listen, I understand The Office is a funny show. I've seen clips where I laugh out loud. I've watched
CPR scene, dude.
I've watched episodes where I laugh out loud. I fucking love Kevin spilling the chili. I fucking love Creed. Creed's my favorite character.
Oh my god, Creed is amazing when Jesse shows up in that like.
I don't know who Jesse.
Oh my god, dude! Breaking Bad has like a crossover.
Oh, Aaron. Aaron.
Jesse shows up to sell him like crack.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Like he like gets in there and Jesse's like looking around. And he's like, "What the fuck is up with all these cameras, bro?" Creed's like, "Hey, don't worry, bro. Just it's all right."
That's funny.
It's my drug dealer.
That's
so.
Or it's like,
no, I got what you. So like the Pam and Jim of it all,
dude. Like, shouts out to my sister. I love you. But my sister, it's like, she to me is the archetype for like every Office fan. Not every Office fan. I retract that. For the majority of like the mass audience Office fans, where it's like Jim and Pam. It's like they come back. It's almost like
Jim is a bully.
Yeah, he is a bully to Dwight. Yeah, I mean,
Pam is an awful woman.
I mean, Dwight's a piece of shit, that doesn't mean you bully him.
Dwight isn't a piece of shit. He's clearly from an Amish village, and I don't say that like he speaks an old dialect of German. He has like all these crazy fucking myths in his head, like about like what you do with a goose on Christmas and shit. And like he owns the beet farm, and his brother dresses like an Amish person. Like he's Amish.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So like if you like look at it like through that viewpoint, like Dwight becomes like kind of like less fucking xenophobic and less, because like this is his entire life, is being a German Amish person.
Right. And given I also haven't watched enough of it, I do agree that like a majority of like Jim's humor, aside from him looking at the camera, which is great,
Sometimes, yeah.
a lot of the times it's just him fucking picking on clearly someone.
An autistic child.
I was gonna say.
Sorry, I shouldn't cut you.
Picking on an autistic guy.
I mean, Dwight is honestly, for me, what makes the show. I don't even really like Jim. Dwight and Michael and like BJ Novak. They had like so many talents.
Not Mindy Kaling.
I've heard she wrote some episodes. I like the episode she wrote.
Shouts out to the end of our first episode.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Mindy. But she used to be one of my favorite female comedians. Comedy writers.
That's fair. Yeah, fuck it.
And then the new Scooby-Doo thing came out. To be fair to her, I haven't watched it, but I watched enough reviews. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, and she also sexually assaulted Lee Pace.
Yep. We're here for you, Lee.
SA1, yeah. Come on, call the show whenever you want. We'll support you, and we will record it. But
I know we laughed, but that's serious.
It's just for our purposes. We're going to record it and put it on the air and blast
Unless
it
you
out.
get a copy first, and you can edit out the parts.
And you can give us some money too if you want. We don't care. Lee Pace, thank you.
Solid,
some of that
advertisement.
Some of that Guardians Volume 1 money.
Was he in Guardians? Who was he in Guardians?
He was Ronan.
Oh.
Very forgettable, yeah. And also wearing a bunch of makeup, so.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell.
And he did that show, was it Pushing Daisies, where everything he would touch with his finger would die.
Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, but he still fell in love, and he would just wear kitchen gloves whenever they'd hold hands. It's like, what do they do when they fuck?
For the longest time, I thought Yondu was Woody Harrelson. Because I watched Woody Harrelson do, like, have you seen Into the Furnace, where he plays, like, a guy from the Pine Barrens?
Excuse me.
And he's, like, a psychopath.
No.
Also another great Christian Bale film. Like, Christian is probably our generation's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Christian Bale, Furnace. Are you thinking of Out of the Furnace?
Out of the Furnace. Did I say Into the Furnace?
Was Woody Harrelson in Out of the Furnace?
Yeah, he was. He played the psycho.
You're right. that gasp was way too fucking intense.
He has like a heart attack.
Oh my God. Well, it's like a memory unlock.
Yeah, he was great in that too. Like, and so like, I don't know, he maybe had like a similar look or like an accent that was similar. And I was like, this is Woody Harrelson. That guy in the blue is Woody Harrelson. And my brother was like, no, he's not.
Thinking about it, it's like, yeah, they pretty much are the same fucking person, dude. You're 100% right.
So, like, for the longest time, I was like, Woody Harrelson is Yondu. I'd be having arguments with people. They'd be like, no, he's not.
There was no one else.
We didn't have, like, cell phone service up at fucking wherever we were. And then when we got to cell phone service, they were like, this motherfucker's not Yondu. I had to eat so much humble pie.
It's the other fucking... Actually, Michael Rooker's probably, like, the psycho version of Woody Harrelson, to be fair. Yeah! We're gonna talk about more!
You know what's crazy is that he's brothers with Matthew McConaughey.
I think, well, so it was speculated. They think that they might be half brothers. I have researched it, and it's not confirmed.
I thought it was. My bad.
No, it's not confirmed. But essentially, one of them was like, "Yeah, my mom slept around." That's essentially the bulk of how they were like, "Oh wait, yeah, we might be related."
Dude, and his dad was like a hitman.
What?
Yeah, dude, this one I know is true. His father was a hitman for the mob.
Who? Which one?
Woody.
Woody's dad. What are you doing?
Maybe he wasn't a hitman for the mob, but he was definitely a hitman for money.
Woody Harrelson, dad, hitman. Wow, it's the second one. Charles Void Harrelson was an American contract killer.
Yeah, dude, isn't that crazy?
He was an American contract killer and organized crime figure who was convicted of assassinating federal judge John H. Wood Jr., the first federal judge to be assassinated in the 20th century.
Wild. Fucking wild.
Charles Harrelson was the father of actors Brett, apparently he's got a brother, Brett and Woody Harrelson.
I like Woody Harrelson, though.
They do look kind of similar.
They do.
His dad reminds me. Maybe it's just because it's an old mugshot, but I was like, did he shoot JFK? It's like, oh no, he shot someone else.
I watched this summer. I watched White Men Can't Jump, and I thought that was actually pretty funny.
Isn't that a? No, it's not a Spike Lee movie.
It's not. You could have told me.
It might be.
He was in it with fucking Wesley Snipes, right?
They remade that movie. Did you know that?
Yeah, and Renee was like, because I watched it, and I was like, oh, you should watch this, Renee. It's really funny, right? Like, it's pretty decent. And, like, she's like, oh, well, we could watch the one with Jack Harlow. And I was like, fucking pass. I'm like, how are you going to put Jack Harlow in a role that Woody Harrelson, the man from Cheers... Woody Harrelson was in a lot of shit, dude.
No, Ron Shelton directed White Men Can't Jump.
No.
It's a hell of a title. I still say Spike Lee did it. I disagree, Google.
Yeah, I mean, like, come on. Spike Lee would definitely.
That's a very Spike Lee name for a movie.
Yeah.
Like Jungle Fever. It's like, okay.
I don't know if I've actually seen a Spike Lee movie now.
Really?
Yeah. What has Spike Lee done?
I don't know. He did Do the Right Thing, which was probably his best. He did Malcolm X with Denzel.
Oh, I've seen that.
He did what the fuck is that? He did a bank robbery movie with Denzel again.
The Equalizer?
No. The Equalizer.
Just because it's so like corporate.
That movie was like just fine, and then they were like, we're gonna make a franchise out of this, and I was like, there's no way this is gonna succeed. And every fucking year the movie succeeds.
How do they make a franchise out of John Wick? But man, how many people can you kill before like eventually you've killed all of your enemies?
I'm out of people to kill.
I'm gonna go to Mars. Kill all the Martians.
Kill all the am I in space?
I never really got onto that.
I'd say I'm in space.
I love Keanu Reeves. I think Keanu Reeves is a beautiful person. Protect him at all costs, all that. But
yeah.
I was never like, John Wick, this is the greatest action flick I've ever seen. Actually, the greatest action flick I've ever seen wasn't even in English. It was in Korean.
Yeah, which one was it?
The Man from Nowhere.
Oh, yeah? Is that streamable somewhere?
I think it might be. I remember me and my brother, like when we were in middle school, like watched it one night and like tears. Like it's all about like him saving this little girl who's like a drug addict.
Oh, okay. So when you talk about it being a really good action movie, do you mean like it's like the story's really good, or do you mean that the action is really good?
The story's really good. I don't really care about how like you choreograph action other than like Star Wars and maybe Lord of the Rings, like fantasy type deals.
You gotta watch The Raid. The Raid. I have been, because I'm sure, I don't know if you've been paying attention to my stories. I've been watching. I don't know how I heard of it. But The Raid is essentially, I don't know, it could change your mind, it might not, I don't know, but it's like the most fucking visceral, incredible action movie. The second one you'd probably like more because it's like, it's long and it has a pretty decent story, all things considered. But the first one pretty much has no story, and it's just about these like Indonesian SWAT members, the SWAT team, that like they go into this giant tenement that's like pretty much a mafia compound, and they get locked in there and they have to fight their way out, and it's essentially just one guy who's the main character doing most of the heavy lifting. This fucking movie is so fucking wild, dude, and it's just I don't even know how to describe it. It's a specific type of kung fu. Every fucking take, every fight scene is done in long takes. It's gory.
I do like kung fu action, like,
and that's it's I forget what it's called, but I mean it's directed by some fucking white dude he was doing a documentary on that type of martial arts, and he met this guy at this gym in Indonesia. And he was like, "Hey, how about we make movies together?" And he was like, "Okay." And now he's
okay.
And he's like,
just walks up to him in the middle of like a squat.
Yeah.
Me, movies.
Yes. And they fucking went and did The Raid, and The Raid is just it's become, you know, it's become, at least in certain sects of the film media world, it's become pretty well known. And now the guy who did The Raid, the actor, not the director, he was in the Expendables 4. No one gives a shit about that movie. I don't blame them, but he's, you know, at least getting a name for himself out there. All I can say is, if you fucking have the time, it's on Netflix.
I'll check it out.
Both 1 and 2 are on Netflix, dude.
So
it is so fucking visceral.
I do like it when like I said, if it's like fantasy type based, like, or like something that's like not supposed to be mimicking reality, like I have time for your choreographed shit. But like John Wick tries to like in some ways mimic reality on like what firearms he would use, and like, you know what I mean, like supersonic bullets, and so that he doesn't make any noises, but he's shooting up a fucking mall, like, you know?
Oh, dude, like John Wick Chapter 2 with him and Common, when they have the suppressors on their pistols.
I love
Common, oh yeah, but shouts out to Common. You can come on the show whenever you want, bro.
I love your beard. I loved him in Hell on Wheels.
Oh, I haven't seen it. He's on Hell on Wheels.
Yeah, he plays a freed slave who It's actually really good. So the main character is like an ex-Confederate soldier, right?
Yeah.
And Common's a freed slave. Not a freed slave, sorry. He was somebody who was a slave, and then after the war, he went out west to go work for the railroad. Both of them, kind of. So, like, and they like strike up a friendship, and like it's kind of a camaraderie type thing. Like I don't say call him Mimi, who plays Thomas Durant in the show.
Kevin?
No, dude, I can't think of the character's name right now. Anyway, the Confederate guy like becomes head of security for the railroad, and he like promotes Common's character to like a security guard or something, like, which is a huge step for him. Like, whereas everybody else is working like the chain gangs.
Right. And they're like, wait, what is this bullshit?
Yeah, basically, and like so like
Common. It's a black man.
Common's character like goes through an arc where like
Colin Meaney? Is that the guy you're talking of?
No, I know Colin Meaney's like a great Irish actor.
Thomas Dr. Ant, Colin Bohannon.
Colin Bohannon.
Played by Anson Mount.
Yeah, Anson Mount, who also was great in it. Like, it's like way less action packed than you would think for a Western. But like it was also really good.
Well, a lot of Westerns, dude, I've learned aren't very action packed. Like a lot of like Westerns, like at least to Tarantino and shit, it's all about a lot about the slow burn, and it's a lot about it's about a lot of just people riding across beautiful fucking pastures, and there's a big shootout at the end. Usually,
I think there's some real truth to that. Like if you look at like the quintessential Western, like in the golden days of like The Searchers with John Wayne and Ford, the action is broken up a lot with like them like actually searching the countryside for this like lady who was like taken by the Native Americans, right? And John Ford, also from Maine, shout out, one of the greatest directors ever from Maine.
Shout out John Ford.
I've told you this before, but like when I take pictures of people, like when we're out like doors, like, you know what I mean? He does like this thing where like the characters are so small compared to the desert to like show how like insignificant we are in comparison. And like I said, like at the beginning of the podcast, like at any moment you could die like that, like, you know,
and no one would know.
And no one would know because you're out there in the fucking middle of the desert in Apache country. But it wasn't really like action packed. Like there's a few action scenes. And like this is what Star Wars is based off of. Like right. Star Wars is based off of like some Japanese films about samurais and The Searchers, which is like they're searching for a girl, like, you know what I mean, like in a hostile territory. Yeah, there's not a lot of action, and like the action that we do get, like fist fights, are kind of campy, like, you know what I mean. But like that's kind of like the standard. Like that would have probably back in the days, like in the 50s, would have like came out and like, did you see that? That was gritty fighting between those two when he bit his foot.
That was a real Donnybrook on that big screen there.
Exactly. So like I think there's some like, but Tombstone is a Western. Like I would consider like the post fucking.
That's the classic one, right?
No.
Is that the one with John Wayne?
What?
Is that the one with John Wayne?
No. That's it, dude. This Tombstone has a fucking cast. It has a cast.
Is that the one with Haas?
No. It was made in the 90s, and it was made by Wider. No, I said Wider. What's his fucking name, dude? What is wrong with me? No, I almost said Russell Brand.
Russell Crowe?
No. Maybe it was Russell Brand. No, it's not Russell Brand. What the fuck is wrong with me? Oh, Kurt Russell.
One of the Russells. Kurt
Russell, Val Kilmer. It had Sam Elliott.
Bill Paxton.
Something Powers.
It's the number 2 most searched Western movie on streaming today.
Yeah, but it's kind of like after the spaghetti Western period.
Right.
So, but that's action-packed in a lot of ways. But like what really makes that movie is the dialogue. But like just so many cool, like, and they're not like cheesy one-liners, like, you know what I mean, like just like cold ass lines delivered from Doc Holliday or Wyatt Earp, like, you know what I mean, like, yeah. I'll be your Huckleberry. Why, Johnny Ringo. Like, just great shit.
I don't even like Huckleberry.
Just great shit. And then I'm trying to think, dude, if I've actually seen like a Western that was like just packed to the walls with action.
Yeah, aren't those mostly spaghetti westerns? The action pack, like Django.
Yeah, where they shot it in Italy, and they were just like, let's see how fast we can produce these.
Like Django is technically a spaghetti western.
But that was pretty action packed.
That's not even. Yeah, that's way more of an action movie than
a western. Yeah. But it was still good. Still fucking amazing. And
love Django.
The western feather and westerns post spaghetti crown. You know.
Spaghetti on the frontier.
Spaghetti. The Last Spaghetti Cowboy. Oh, that would be a great title for a western, almost like a look at the western tropes. I think they already did one in Blazing Saddles, but the Last Spaghetti Man.
The Last Spaghetti
The Last Spaghetti Cowboy or something like that, and it's just like all of the tropes.
Is it? I was gonna say, is it a comedy or is it
comedy.
okay?
Probably either a comedy or like a statement piece.
Because it reminds me of that movie that Sam Elliott did that was very serious, where it was about his career ending.
I never saw that.
It's called The Hero. It's pretty good. It's mostly just him acting, and he hooks up with Donna from That 70s Show, which just continues the whole like guy who's 30 years older than the female counterpart in a movie, and it's like, but
The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance had like zero action in it.
I've never heard of that movie. I've never seen.
It has Jimmy Stewart and John Wayne. Most of the westerns I named before Spaghettis are gonna have either John Wayne or Jimmy Stewart in it.
You're a John Wayne guy, aren't you?
I love John Wayne. I love him acting.
The Pilgrim.
I don't like him. Like, he wasn't the greatest person in the world.
No, he was. He was not. He was not. He was a very rude person.
He was. I actually watched something with the guy from Breaking Bad, fucking Bryan Cranston, where he played the guy who wrote Roman Holiday.
Yeah, he wrote a couple different. He wrote, what the fuck is that called?
He's a famous screenwriter.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
And he got blacklisted for being a communist.
Oh, I can't.
Trombone or something. Trumbo. Yep.
That's right.
It was not bad, and like basically, I didn't know John Wayne was going out there and like fucking outing people.
Oh yeah. John Wayne was like on the frontier of blacklisting because he was the American hero.
He was the Homelander of the day.
Do you know that John Wayne was gay?
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, bro, that's a serious accusation.
Serious? What do you
I don't mean like serious, like it's bad that he's gay, but like that changes a lot of shit. Not like how I wouldn't stop watching his movies, but it definitely changes his image as the all-American fucking of that era.
Right, of that era. Well, I mean, it's also though, can you honestly sit here and say that you would be dramatically surprised if someone who did as many movies as he did and was in Hollywood as much as he was actually gay?
No, that's true about a lot of them. There was a guy, the guy from The Rifleman, I think was gay.
I don't remember that movie.
It's not a movie, it's a show. I want to say Rock Hudson.
I didn't realize until like a few years ago.
A bunch of them were.
James Dean was gay.
James Dean was gay?
Yeah, James Dean was gay.
Was he?
How do you like me now,
I
gay
heard that
boy?
his sexuality was kind of like in question.
Johnny Crawford? Is that what you're talking about? Chuck Connors?
Might have been Chuck Connors.
The guy who plays Lucas McCain?
I could be wrong about this, but I know Rock Hudson, who was like a Western star, was also gay.
James Dean gay. And yes, for everyone wondering, this is crucial that we know this and discuss this. Dean is,
Isn't it kind of funny, though, that they, like, hid all of this shit, like Hollywood hid all of this shit, just because they were like, nobody's gonna like a gay front man, or, like, even accept him, and then now they're, like, trying to be LGBT's biggest advocates on screen.
You say that? I'm sorry. Can you say
No, it's kind of, it might be a stupid point, but, like, I always think about, like, how Hollywood was, like, vehemently on the wrong side of history in a bunch of places.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're like, no, we're really the good guys. Like, this is like, we're here to represent people of color and people like, and before, like, the first fucking great film that like people study is like the Birth of a Nation.
Is that I haven't studied that movie.
So like the one communications class I took at Norwich, like we didn't watch A Birth of a Nation.
I was gonna say, do not tell me that they show Birth of a Nation at Norwich, bro.
They talked about like the importance it played in filmmaking. Like, you know what I mean? I never really remembered it because I was like, this is stupid.
Well, what is it, like the Potemkin footage where it's like it's like the technical aspects of it? Okay,
that were like appreciated later on, like so like
all the blackface. And they're like, see.
How everybody's like secretly a racist.
This is filmmaking.
Woodrow Wilson like showed it in the White House.
Yeah, dude. He used to show people and be like, "This is like." He would like refer to it as like a crucial part of American history or some shit like that.
Yeah, he was the first progressive, but he was a fucking monster. He was a fucking monster. Like he started, him and Margaret Sanger were all about Planned Parenthood, but the reason for it wasn't about a woman's choice. It was about trying to get ethnics to stop having babies, in their words. Irish and black people and like Italians.
Gosh.
So like
ethnics.
They were like, these Irish Catholics are having like 19 kids, and pretty soon everybody's gonna be a fucking Mick in this country.
We don't like corned beef hash.
Yeah, and they were like,
Cabbage.
Black people are fucking just procreating like rabbits out here, and
So watch this movie.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, like how something like gets its roots, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Someone they shut the movie off. What'd you think? And it just cuts to some guy sitting there with his legs crossed, like, well, it was interesting.
People are slowly backing out the door.
Like people classic, like, I hated it, but I'm not gonna say that.
So while I was trying to like pick out my car, I like had this conversation with this Jamaican dude.
Oh yeah.
Right, and he was going off about Africans. And I had that same like me and my mom had that same reaction. Like, and you can't say anything because. Like,
what was he saying? Like, fuck Africans?
So basically, like, he was saying some shit. And I guess, like, in fairness to him, like, the Africans fucking say the same shit about the Jamaicans.
I love when non-Americans are racist. It's just so hilarious. It's because it's like, it just, everyone's like, America. Tell me you're American
it's
without
a human.
And then it's like Asians are so
racist to other Asians,
yes,
bro.
Dude. It's
like, dude, the Chinese and the Japanese, I think that's the funniest part of South Park for me, is like when the Chinese and the Japanese guy are fighting. You stupid Japanese dog.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh my god, bro. You've definitely...
I've seen the one where they trick Japan into thinking that that the dolphins and whales were the ones that committed the Hiroshima bombings.
Oh my!
So they've been waging. That's why they kill so many whales and dolphins off the coast of Japan,
bro. And
they changed to chicken and cows so that they could just fill our meat quotas.
So like, turns out like the Chinese guy is really like this white guy with like fucking multiple personality disorder. And
this is South Park. Right?
Yeah. One of his personalities is he's Chinese, and like he gets into a feud with a fucking Japanese restaurant owner, dude.
Oh, yeah.
And it just divulges like...
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. This is the really fucked up one, right?
Yeah,
Was it like the Japanese guy commits suicide at the end?
No, he frames it because like he's always like, I'm Japanese. Like the Chinese guy's making fun of him.
Right.
I'm Japanese. I had a bad day. I kill myself. Right? So then he like lures him up to a tower of friendship.
That's right.
Dude, and like makes him like jump off. Like it was fucking hilarious.
And isn't it fucking Butter's therapist or something like that, dude?
And Butter's therapist is like, you have multiple personality disorder. In reality, he has the multiple personality disorder, dude. Like
crossing his eyes and going all fucking intense, dude. I that's right. They always show that episode on TV.
Dude, that fucking episode makes me laugh so fucking hard. But yeah, dude, like I agree. Like people are always like, it's Americans or it's like white Europeans. Like, and then like I'm talking to this guy from Jamaica and the shit he's saying about Africa. Like, dude, I like started backing away because I didn't want anybody to record. Like, I didn't want them being like, dude, look at this white guy who's racist as fuck in the booth. I was like, dude,
and he's doing a Jamaican voice too. What a fucking asshole.
That's true. Like they would have been like, what? Look at that kid's accent. They probably would have been more freaked out by the accent. They would have been like, what the fuck?
It's like someone just who has no idea that it's actually the Jamaican guy being racist. They just assume because he's black that he's not going to be racist, so they're like, it must be the white guy and he's doing a Jamaican accent.
And the best is that they both hate like African Americans for some reason.
Who's both?
The Africans and Jamaicans.
They both hate
like born here African Americans.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that whole like I've heard that whole thing where
I'm making a generalization
because like a lot. Well, no, and I've seen that on Instagram and stuff like that too, where it's like someone from Kenya or someone from whatever, and they'll be like, I don't get. I've seen, I can't name an example and I won't, but I've definitely seen stuff like that too, where they're like, I mean, it's kind of like how I think Italians hate Italian Americans.
They do?
Yes, they do.
That's crazy.
Dude, well, yeah, the
Irish hate Irish Americans. They don't hate us, but like they're definitely like, you're not one of us.
I don't think, I mean, we're pretty much going down the list. I don't think there's many dash Americans that anyone outside of
Likes.
America. Yeah, it really doesn't seem. You know,
maybe they just don't like America.
yeah, I'm just noticing a pattern here.
I mean, like, it's. I wouldn't say that they like. I walk in there and they're like, "Who's your grandfather?" And I tell them who my grandfather is, and like everything's cool. But like, I can't say I've had a bad experience in Ireland.
I'm sure they're probably right. I mean, there's an element too where it's like.
Yeah, like first generation.
I don't mean to be
generation.
so like. I think with family, it's definitely one thing, and if you have ties to the place, it's one thing. But also,
right, like if I was like a seventh generation.
I don't mean to be so cynical. Also, there's a level of like, well, they're tourists, so we got to be nice when they give us their money. But I think that that also may just be me undermining just how friendly they may be. I don't know.
So I've never watched them be like mean to like people, but like I think that they were growing tired of Americans when like Trump got elected. Not because of Trump, but like people would like hop into the cab and start talking politics to them, and they're like, I don't give a fuck. Like I don't give a single fuck. Like, let me just drive my cab in peace.
Well, a lot of people, I think, were just like, how did that happen?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how did that happen? I don't fucking know. You like that Irish accent, bro? So fucking... The way to avoid being racist against any culture is just make the accent as fucking horrendous as possible.
For real.
Just South Park it.
Exactly. That's why it works. That's why they can get away with it. It's because it's fucking so obvious it's a parody.
Right. And it's so obvious that it's like, in and of itself, kind of being... self-aware of their racism, that it's in and of itself not technically
like
racist.
You're not supposed to laugh at the fact that it's racist. You're supposed to laugh at the fact that like people actually perceive like Japanese and Chinese people like this.
It's just it's like absurdism just boiled down into like almost like a sitcom. It's unreal.
I think Community goes the other way where they're like mocking people like who get like so fucking into like those labels and like trying not to be racist that they actually in turn become racist.
That's always good. It's
like the dean tries to make, so the dean starts a football team, and he like he needs to come up with a mascot.
Yeah.
So like they're like, why not just make it an animal like the Grizzlies or something? And he's like, well, most of these kids have been called animals their entire lives, so. Because like it's a community college and like it's all the rejects of like it was a joke. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with community college, but like especially back then, like there was a stigma about community college.
Well, I think there still is. I mean, I'd hear stories about the dorms at like SMCC and like people like smoking like crack and shit.
I thought you were gonna be like smoking pot in the dorms. I was like, I did that. I don't blame you, but like crack.
I've heard
that they do heroin up at UNH.
Really?
Yeah.
At UNH? I
heard they busted a huge heroin fucking ring out there.
It's like when Bobby busted. I'll blur this out. When Bobby busted for making dabs in his room, and he found like 3 fucking tanks of like. What is it? Butane? He found like 3 massive tanks of butane that he was gonna press his fucking weed with, and like they brought the sheriff down and all this shit. What is this from? St. Joe's.
This happened at St. Joe.
Bobby busted. Do you remember?
No. Why would Bobby do that?
He was an RA.
He had no choice. I don't know, dude. Like, if I was an RA, I'd be like, as long as you don't set this place on fire or have hard drugs in there, I don't give 2 fucks what you do in your room.
Well, Bobby was a good boy. And
he was.
Bobby
he was a Boy Scout.
He was, yeah. I mean,
across the board, though.
He wasn't a complete Boy Scout. I mean, he liked to drink. When he became an RA, I mean, the RA was huge for him for the Freerman board. So, and I don't blame him for that. Respect to him. Bobby was a good student. He was a good kid for the most. And
a teacher.
Yeah, future teacher. I don't know if he's teaching yet. He should be if he is.
I think he is.
Bobby, if you're out there teaching the youth, we appreciate you.
I can respect Bobby. He's across the board straight.
Yes.
Kinda.
And yes, not homosexual. Across the board straight.
he is so straight, he's gay.
He is
so straight, he goes in a crooked line.
Dude, he's so straight. He's just so, yeah, he just completely, it's like a black hole paradox that just pokes a hole between 2 different fucking universes, dude.
So mad. He
busted this fucking kid. This kid had fucking 3 massive tanks of butane.
See, that's a problem.
And I don't know how Bobby found out about it.
He busts in there like the DA. My sources say you're cooking.
He's got like this body armor on that's made from like It's made from like binders.
He's actually the brother-in-law from Breaking Bad. The entire time.
My name's Asac Schrader. My name's Asac Merrill. You can go fuck yourself. And he fucking busted this kid I mean, that's how you make dabs. You have to press it with butane. There's another way to do it that's healthier, but making it with butane is like the easiest way to do it. And he was one of the bigger dealers at the school, and he was making his own dabs in the fucking in his dorm room in the quads.
Jesus,
like you
Christ.
lived in the quads, dude, and he had a roommate, and he was making dabs in there, dude. I mean, me and Tyler had enough room to be comfortable, but I don't think to do whatever the fuck he was doing, dude. So Bobby busts him, and the sheriffs came down, and all these fucking people came down. And
what's crazy is when Bobby was the fucking campsite busted into my room and like accused me of smoking in the room. There was a blunt in the toilet that was like not mine. I was like, you've got to be fucking shitting me, dude. Like,
there was a blunt in the toilet.
No, dude, there was like this kid who was like, I want to say on the basketball team. I don't even know, right? And he was smoking like blunts in the fucking bathroom. And they came in and busted me because I smoked like out of a bowl and like maybe like 3 hours before that.
Right.
And they were like, you have it. And I was like, search. I gave them like one small nug.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I fucking kept the rest in my hockey bag.
I love it. Well, it's a kind of a happy medium because they're like, if you give them anything without giving them trouble, they're like, thank you so much. Like
I hated campsite.
Oh, camps, yeah, they're pieces of shit. I mean, a lot
Kept
of them
booting my car.
Really? They booted you?
Yeah, they were like, buy the parking pass. And I was like, no, I pay fucking room and board, dude. What type of fucking apartment doesn't come with that fucking parking, you fucking morons?
You didn't get the parking thing?
No, dude. The first year I was like, this is stupid. It was like ridiculously expensive too. Like it was like $200 at Norwich. I think you paid $75. I forget how.
I never paid $200 for the parking.
I forget how fucking much it was, but it was way more expensive than Norwich, and I was like, I'm not paying this.
What the fuck?
That's
so funny.
I say 200, and now somebody's gonna be like, well, actually, it's like 175 or 150 or something.
$20.
If it was 20, I would have done it if it was $20 just to get them to stop.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is my statement. Like, I'm not paying. Like, I've paid room and board. Room and board includes fucking food, a place to sleep, and a place to put my vehicle, unless you want me to walk from Southern Maine.
This is part of my room. Dude, yeah, I mean...
I would have parked my car in my room if I could.
You like my garage? You just fucking blow the wall out of the person next to you. You drive in with... And you fucking lay on the horn. Dude, I have to stop. At least we can either... Do you want me to hit pause? That way you don't have to carry it? Because I have to fucking pee so bad. So give me 1 sec. The monster coffees, they taste like the Starbucks.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, they're designed for hangovers, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, they got like coconut water and a bunch of other shit.
I get the greasiest thing I can when I'm hungover.
What's that?
Grease.
Really?
Yeah. I fucking... I don't know. Fucking think it like absorbs whatever's left over.
Grease for me. Grease for me.
Then I take a giant shit. And, like, all that like, I don't know, like, for me, the moment I take a shit, like a giant, I get like everything out, like I'm just like, oh, thank God. I have life-changing shit sometimes. Like, I remember this one time. I actually have shits I remember. Like, I came back from fishing, dude, and, like, I passed out on the couch watching The Dark Knight, and then I remember, all I had was, like, I had a big-ass fucking, like, slice out of the watermelon, like a fourth of the watermelon. I remember getting up and taking a shit that lasted non-break for, like, 30 minutes. And like, I know this is like not the type of humor I like to get into, like this fucking.
No, please do.
I was like, I'm not flushing it because I want to see what the total mass is here.
Wait, you what do you mean? What do you mean?
No, I like. Okay, sometimes I'm like, I'll flush in the middle, like you know what I mean, so the bathroom doesn't stink.
Oh, that's prison rules, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, let me. I just want to see what the total weight. Like this was when I was 14, so we were just in a small space, so those were the rules for a small space. But like, I was just like, I have to see it. 30 minutes. I fell asleep. It
On
was,
the toilet?
yeah, it went on for so long, dude. Isn't there like a TV episode where a guy like falls asleep on the toilet, winds up banging his head because he like gets up and his legs are dead?
Oh, I don't know. That's how my mom fractured her foot. Not on the toilet. Not on the
'Cause her
toilet.
foot
Not
fell
on the
asleep.
toilet. Her foot fell asleep, sleeping on the couch, and she stood up, and then she fractured her foot. God bless her.
Bro.
But this guy it just made me think of that, dude.
Yeah, dude, it was just crazy. I was
Dude,
like, when is this gonna stop?
Every
Like, this just keeps going.
dude, every fucking. All right, everyone, get ready. This is when we get intimate. Every fucking shit I take, my legs numb when I get up, bro. And maybe it's my toilet.
That's strange. It might be your blood circulation.
It's probably a numb. Dude, my leg will get numb if it's like. Not my leg, like right above my knee will get numb if it's bent for too long.
No, it's my legs. Like everything below where below my knee gets like numb as shit.
Oh yeah.
That's strange. Well, how are you sitting on the toilet then? Like,
I just hanging out, bro.
yeah, I like do it like I sit like the cool teacher at school with my arms across the fucking.
Yeah, dude. I remember. No, dude. I before I get into that, dude, shitting, dude. I don't know. I'm at a point in my life where shitting is just a fucking pain. Oh my god, I can't. I was gonna say this completely unprovoked, but it's become just a fucking pain in my ass, dude. It's become a fucking huge pain in my ass, dude. And it's like,
Is it like literal pain?
no. There was a while. I'm pretty sure I had a fissure or some shit.
Those things suck.
Those things, they hurt. Yeah, it's like passing razor blades, bro. But I don't know, dude. Like, I think it's probably my OCD. Like, I can't stand the thought of like walking around with like shit in between my ass cheeks. So like, he just goes,
Are you wiping right?
dude? And that's the thing, is that like, because I can't stand that thought, I kind of just fucking.
You need a bidet.
I do need a bidet. Dude, I used to have one at my house in Freiburg. The moving crew that came by to move us was one of my mom's friends, and we forgot about the bidet, and he was at the end of his rope.
I hope you guys upcharged then. That's a great feature for a house.
Oh no, it was a portable bidet that was supposed to come off, and we were renting, so we couldn't actually profit off the bidet, which is a bummer, dude. No pun intended. Again, dude. But he my mom's friend from the old neighborhood, he pretty much just got fucking sick and tired of all the shit we had to do, so he like ripped the fucking bidet off the hose, and he more or less broke it, so we couldn't use the bidet anymore. It doesn't really matter that much, considering I don't know if you ever use, like, unless you get like an expensive bidet.
Never used one.
Okay, unless you.
I am a straight toilet paper man.
It'll change your life, dude. Because
I'm not like one of those people who are like, no way, dude, that's gay. I'm having something blast up my ass. Like, nah. Like, I'm fucking poor white trash through and through. So, like, you know what I mean? Amenities beyond toilet paper to me is like, oh la la, like you're so fancy.
And then fucking a crowd, they're like, "Ooh la la, even poor people in France have a bidet."
Oh, do they? Good for them.
Yeah, right. Good for France. Why not? Fuck it.
France is wild. But anyway,
bite it. Dude, the cheap bidet that I got, it was one like was $100 on Amazon. My mom got it for me because I had essentially the moral of why I hate shitting so much. Welcome to the show, everyone. Is because like I just fucking, dude, I wipe and I wipe and I wipe. I wipe until most of the time there's fucking. I shouldn't say most.
Blood.
I shouldn't say most of the time. I'd say probably 45% of the time, not half. 45% of the time it's raw and it's fucking painful, dude. So I just fucking like.
you gotta, because then you get the swamp ass and it like migrates out with the water.
Dude, I just fucking, I wipe and I wipe and I wipe. A bidet would be fantastic. The only problem is the bidet I had, dude, if you had it like, there's low, medium, high. If you turned it to low, your asshole's ripped in half, bro. It was
on low.
On low. I'd never used it on medium or high.
I never was brave enough.
No. Dude, the fucking stream was so intense and it was cold.
Like, you know what you could do is you could take a shit and then take a shower.
Dude, okay. For anyone who listens to your mom's house podcast, probably nobody. The host from that show talks about the shit shower. I don't know the limits that one's willing to go through. But all I can picture is just brown water floating down the fucking drain.
Well, don't look. Don't look. Like, why? All right, so, like, I get in the shower, dude. I throw either soap on a cloth or all over my hand, and I just go back there, and I, like, give it, like, the car scrub. I'm like...
Don't look.
Just, like, I don't.
Pretend it's not there.
The only time I look at, like, what the color of the water is turning is, like, if I was working my tree job, or, like, the first time I worked Wildland Fire, dude, I sat down in the hotel shower, like, probably disgusting, shouldn't have done it. But, like, I was so tired, I was like, because we, like, worked a 14-hour day, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to sit in the shower before dinner, and, like, I was watching all of the water, like, just go down to the drain, and it's, like, black from all the sun.
Right.
But, like, I don't...
That's one thing I can totally be cool with.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, oh, hey, look, there goes all my hard work down the drain. Just like my next paycheck. Because I'm getting booze and strippers.
I'm imagining someone saying that, though, but it's about their shit going down the drain.
Yeah, see, like, I wouldn't look then. Like, I wouldn't look then. I looked, like, after I worked, like, a really hard day of doing, like, tree removal, like, with all the sap and shit, I'd want to see it.
Yeah.
Or, like, camping. Like, if me and Tyler have been camping for a few days, it's usually kind of interesting.
It's like that scene from the Road. Have you seen The Road?
No.
It's just like, it's a post-apocalypse movie, and these guys, it's a big dad and his son, and they find a house with running water, and they turn the shower on, and it's just black running down the drain.
Dude, I don't think people realize, like, that is such it's like a privilege, like, you know what I mean, that we take that for granted, you know?
Having running water, dude?
I was just talking about the shower, but yes, running water is also, like, I'm pretty sure when my mom was a kid in Ireland, she didn't have running water, like, they got it from wells.
Oh, wow.
I could be wrong. I don't know. I know my grandfather definitely probably didn't have running water when he was a kid. Like in the 40s, because like we come from a really rural area in Ireland. I'd have to check with her about like when electricity and running water. I think electricity just started coming to town when she was a kid.
Wow. So like there's a good chance that she may have used an outhouse and all that shit.
I don't know. I don't want them to like. I don't want to like disgrace the fucking island of Connemara here and be like, you're a bunch of backwoods hicks. But I get to do that because I am part Connemara, part Northern Irish.
The island of calamari.
Nah, Connemara is kind of like a little bit like Maine. Like it was like, you know, a little behind the rest of the country, like in its development.
Well, isn't it? This is such a stupid ass thing to say. It's like where Maine goes, the country follows.
There I go, baby.
I lead.
So actually, there's a reason we were slow. It's because the people from the city, like the industrialists, would come up here and they didn't want their vacation
Talking
land.
about Maine, right?
Yeah. They didn't want their vacation land becoming like, you know what I mean, civilized, because like they'd come up from like say Pittsburgh or like New York, and they would get out from all that smog and filth and squalor. And this is not the poor people. This is like the Carnegies and the Rockefellers, and they'd come up here and they'd be like, oh, like look at how beautiful this is. Like we can't let any factories or roads in here because they would just destroy it. So Maine suffered in its industrial development, which is a good and a bad thing in a lot of ways, because like we have a really nice piece of land here, you know what I mean?
It's nice, yeah.
But at the same time, like our biggest industries are like fishing, potatoes, blueberries, like you know what I mean? Very seasonal and very subjective to like however the weather is doing.
Tourism.
Tourism. He's right. Tourism is number one.
Fucking masshole.
Tourism is. I meant more of things we produce or like export.
Things we value.
I don't value you fucking tourist fucks. Go back to Massachusetts.
You mama Lukes, you fucking...
Tony Soprano over here. He's a mama Luke!
This son of a... Oh, I can't even fucking do a good Tony Soprano. Hey! What would you fucking say?
James
Hey!
Gandolfini, treasure.
I still think he's overrated. Rest
Tony
in
or
peace.
James Gandolfini?
Gandolfini.
I heard he was a stand-up dude.
I mean, I heard he... I am such a stickler for people who like cheat on their wives, and I've heard he cheated on his wife, and I heard he would. I mean, the big drinking, the big drugging isn't really that big a deal to me. I'd much rather.
My mom said I'd rather have you not be a drug addict.
Oh, well.
I mean, like, I'm with you. Like,
no, I mean, I think you're coming from the perspective of someone looking from the outside in, more so. You're not like, I'd rather have Renee be a cheat on me than be a drug addict.
I would rather have her cheat on me than be a drug addict. Like, that would be terrible. Like, we wouldn't even be able to have a relationship. Like, you know what I mean? Like, depending on the drug. I mean, like, one could argue she's addicted to certain things now, but like,
everyone
it doesn't create, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's nothing like I'm like, oh, she's gonna fucking leave our kid to go score. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm the exact opposite. I'd much rather have like someone to scoop up off the sidewalk than like walking on someone fucking my person. I'd be like, no.
I just see, like, cheating. I don't know. Like, if you cheated on me, I actually wouldn't, like, I would be mad. Like, I'm trying to find the right words. I'd just be like, fuck it, like, new relationship, let's go. Like, you know what I mean?
And that's a very healthy way to look at it. I mean, there's something,
like, I didn't need you to start with if that's the type of person you were, like, you know.
No, that's a good point. I have this thing in my head where it's like, I mean, I don't trust like anyone, and I kind of have already my own survival instincts kicked in nonstop 24/7. So it's like, when I find someone that I like I've kind of said, like, there's the Paramore song, The Only Exception.
I love that song.
It's a fucking great song. And
it's such like, it's outside of the repertoire I usually listen to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not like a big Paramore guy.
Haley's a good singer though.
I did like her in that. Yeah.
But it's like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I mean, back in the day, I literally based everything based on like what the masses did and what I should be expected to do. But now it's like, dude, I'm just looking for my only exception. And if like, and there is an element where it's like, well, if they cheat on you, then they weren't the only exception. But it's like, yeah, but maybe there's an element of like, you know, there is no only exception at all if I get cheated on. So maybe there's something deeper than just the fact that I don't like cheating.
Do you think you're putting a lot of pressure on that person, maybe?
I think that it's something that,
like, dude,
yes and no.
I love Renee. She is not perfect. She's so far from, and she's so far from, like, when I was a little kid, like I always was like, I'm gonna date like somebody who's athletic, and like Renee is not athletic. I love her to death.
Like that.
You know what I mean? Somebody who's like tall like me, because I'm gonna have fucking big ass babies. I was like 13 pounds. Like, I'm scared for Renee. Like, I don't know how that's gonna work for her.
Oh yeah.
And she's terrified too. Like, it's not just like some sexist, like, she doesn't have birthing hips.
Oh, she's very small. She's a very tiny person.
But I don't know. I think the beautiful thing about love is we find who we find, and then we grow with them, you know?
Yeah, I think that, you know, coming back to what you said about putting pressure on them, you know, I don't want, you know, I don't have, in my opinion, really unnecessary expectations as much as I have the hope and the, you know, how do I put this? I expect them to be a part of a union, to be part of a partnership.
Team.
Yeah, a team. And I am so, like I said, I'm so untrusting that, like, the person that
I'm untrustworthy.
The person that I find in my mind understands that, like, there's a level of thin ice when you hold my heart in your hands, but at the same time you think like, well, there's no fucking way I'm ever gonna drop this. Like, I know that there's an element of like, oh, what if I do drop it? And it's like, well, then I probably won't be giving you my heart, because I can probably detect from a mile away where someone's like unsure of themselves, or someone's like, yeah, like I'm sure of myself. Like, who knows what the fuck's gonna happen to you, to you, meaning me, obviously. I mean, I would never in a million years. I've always said the biggest problem is not when people are picky and needy. It's when people are picky and needy and they get mad at other people for not meeting their expectations. Almost like they have to.
I see. It's something that I don't like about myself sometimes is I get, when Renee or I fall short of expectations, like, there's an anger there. But like, it's not like, you didn't fucking cook it right. Like, it's more like, dude, I want to say like fatherly disappointment. Like, I'm just come on, you could be doing better.
Right, I'm sure it all depends on whatever the nuances of the situation. It's like, I would never put pressure on someone who wouldn't want that pressure. Let me put it to you that way. And like, you could say, well, who's going to want it? And it's like, to me, like, I've always I've always known and felt that like if I ever found someone like me, that I would be the perfect person, because it's like I know how I feel and I know how strongly I feel.
So you want somebody who's gonna treat you like you treat them.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like the golden rule.
If I could just clone myself and make me hot.
Make
me hot, dude.
Dick off.
Dick off. I'm like, I don't like the facial hair, but they they treat me like me. So
oh, there's a scene from American Dad I gotta show you about that. Like, if fucking famous fucking actor who is like famous for playing concierges, like in movies. Like he plays like a ton of different like hotel concierges, and like
Lance Reddick. No. Speaking of John Wick.
Yeah. But I'll show you it after, dude. It's pretty funny. And like, there's like a female version of him, but she still has the beard. Yeah, I don't know. For me, like, I just want somebody who wants to improve. Like, I fucking know I am so far from perfect. Like I said, like I get irrationally angry, like not like bubbling over, screaming, throwing things, but angry about shit I definitely shouldn't be angry about. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I want to change that about myself. I want to change that for Renee. I want to change that for me. And like, if it doesn't work out with Renee, which I think it's going to work out, but like, I'm just saying, like, if it doesn't, like the next person, like, you know,
yeah,
what I mean? I think, and that's why I love Renee. She's constantly trying to change herself in a better way. Like, I say change yourself, but like, there's obviously like an element, like, how far can you change yourself before?
Well, yeah. And I was going to say, like, when it comes down to like, you know, like the anger and whatnot, I found like, the big thing you hear, I've heard specifically, me being who's been alone for so long and who, you know, already has my own reservations about what women want and women don't want me, all this bullshit. It's like, sorry, I just breathe into the mic, everyone. Like, it's, you can only change so much in the sense that there are some things that just can't be changed at all. And there are some things that when you figure, like, you think you got to figure something out, and then when you really figure it out, you find that there really was nothing to figure out. It's almost, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is the feelings don't go away. It's the way we learn to react to those feelings, I think, is
deal
what,
with our emotions.
Exactly. And a lot of like,
so I guess growing would be a better term than what I'm using. So like, when I say change, like, I'm not like, I want Renee to become athletic and like, you know
right.
Like, I want her to like,
I want her to not be anxious anymore. It's like,
yeah,
whoa.
Yeah, exactly. That's not an obtainable. I want her to like, you know what I mean? Like, just like she wanted me to like, you know what I mean? She's like, because I have PTSD, so like I have like anger issues, and she's like, whoa. Like, why are you getting so worked up?
Like Bill Burr's wife. Like, where is this coming from?
Exactly. Like, and it's almost never directed at her, but like scenarios like pile up on me, and all of a sudden I'm screaming at the Xbox at like 3 a.m. Like, my family thinks when I'm screaming at the Xbox, I'm mad at the game. I'm like really just like, it's
something else that the game's bringing out. Yeah,
like 100%. I'm like, whoa, why won't my guy get on the horse? What the fuck? And like, it's just like, because like nothing has gone right that week.
Stop auto aiming on the same fucking guy.
So like this summer, dude, like, or like for like the past 5-7 months, I haven't gotten angry at the game, but like shit started going wrong this summer. Like, not really wrong, but like I started getting frustrated, and then like I'm catching myself now yelling at the game again.
Right, yeah, 100%. And a lot of it takes so much introspection, and it takes so much like so many moments where you just kind of sit and you're like you literally kind of have to almost therapize or whatever the fucking verb is. You have to pretty much perform therapy on yourself.
Yeah.
And you gotta have to ask, like, not like obviously the whole, well, how does it make me feel? And then the bigger question from there is, why do I feel this way?
Right.
And then you kind of have to start digging and
I stopped digging after. I'm like, okay, well, we have an issue here, and we've got to deal with it. Like, I'm like less worried about the root cause, which maybe I should be.
Well, there's such like a fucking spectrum. There are some things that I think digging helps, and then there are some things where it's like, if you keep digging, you're just gonna find bedrock. Like, there's really nothing. Like,
that happened with me in therapy. Like, I kept going back every week, and then like once I got not rid of Dave, but once Dave wasn't an option, I had this therapist who was like making me relive like the traumatic event, and I was like, this isn't helping. Like, I'm just coming home fucking pissed off and like fucking mad at the world, and like I'm just like cutting open this wound, and I'm bleeding off like bleeding all over the people I love, and like I need like more like I gotta talk to somebody about my day, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I gotta unpack like the minute shit that like is like causing me to get triggered.
You were
And, like,
doing EMBR, right?
yeah, it was. I don't.
But
I
that
mean, it
stuff's
might work
intense.
for people. I've heard it works for people. It did not work for me.
Well, I think it's like I think in your case, like the session itself, because it's supposed to, from what I've described, it's supposed to make you bleed so that you learn to like. Dave always described it to me as you learn to sit in the room with the dragon as opposed to being so fucking petrified of the dragon. But the problem is that in your situation, you'd come home just fucking with all this fucking shit stirring in your head, and it's like it doesn't sound like there's any supplemental room for like dealing with that shit and coping with that shit.
I'll
You
tell
know
you
what
what
I
the
mean?
big question is like when they make you relive it, they're like, where do you feel that like in your body? And I wouldn't feel it anywhere.
My dick.
Yeah,
Feel it in
I'd be
my
like, I guess I
balls.
feel it in my head because it's mostly like a movie's playing in my head, and I'm like
Right.
watching the movie.
Because they stimulate like both sides of your brain.
I've just never been like a person who's like uncomfortable with his own thoughts. Like, you know, like, yeah, I don't want to experience it, but like, it's nothing that like I can talk myself out of it. Like I can be like, dude, this happened. This isn't hurting me right now. Like, and I'm not giving anybody advice on PTSD. Is everybody's own journey. Like, you know what I mean?
Welcome to Therapy Corner, everybody.
Yeah, well, it works for me, and it might not work for you, and EDMR might work for you way better. And if it does, go for it. Whatever works for you, go for it. But for me, like, I have a conversation with myself, kind of like, I'm gonna sound so pretentious, but like in A Beautiful Mind, when he talks himself out of schizophrenia.
He talks himself out of it.
He talks him so like he'll have the delusion, and he'll be like, "That girl, I've been having this delusion for 5 years. That girl hasn't aged a day.
Right.
So this is a delusion."
He's like staring at himself in the mirror. He's like, no.
Yeah, I
And
had
then
like
it stops.
so like after the event, like I had 2 breaks kind of like from reality off of like fucking bad weed.
Oh,
And-
yeah. 2K.
I was yeah, exactly. I was
Or
able
K2,
to like
whatever.
talk myself out of it, like, and be like, this isn't real. Like, this isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real. And this is like
Right.
certain details about the event. I was like, that didn't happen. I was like, that didn't happen. And like, there's like that wasn't the color of the car.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
It's fucked when you can't even trust like your own memory, your own brain, especially like from traumatic experiences like that, dude. Like,
It wasn't. It was like the break from reality. Like one of them, I had to relive the traumatic event. And like,
Yeah.
I was able to just, because it was so ingrained in my brain, I was like, that's not the details. Like, this isn't reality. And like, I just like, yeah, catch myself, and I'm just like, dude, what's going on? Like, what are you doing here, Seamus? Like, what the fuck? Like,
why am I like this right now?
exactly. And then like, you know what I mean? You know,
Yeah, I told my sister a few days ago whenever I saw her last. She was like, "Are you still in therapy?" And I said, "No." I said, "Well, kinda." And she was like, "What do you mean?" I told her kind of like how like when I have issues, I handle it in house. And she literally just went, "Uh-oh." And I was like,
it can be problematic.
"Oh, well, 100%." I mean, I would even say for the majority of cases, when people handle it themselves, they usually just end up trying to like let them
Drink
off
it
the hook.
away.
They either drink it away or they let themselves off the hook. But like I dead ass will like just lay in my bed, stare up at my roof, and just ask myself questions over and over again and think, and the well, that's obsessing. Well, it really, I have literally come away with some incredible fucking breakthroughs just by sitting there and asking myself why this and why that. So, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like there's no one size fits all, and you tried the EMBR, and it.
The most important thing with mental health is to try new things. Try new things.
Try new things and learn to forgive yourself, learn to forgive your brain, forgive, I mean, well, you can only forgive people for certain things. Obviously, I understand that. But like at the end of the day, like, I mean, you're going to have your anxiety. You're going to have your depression. It's not, some people, I think it's circumstantial. They can kind of come away feeling a little better. And some people get on medication, feel better. But for people who have it chronically, dude, like it's there. And there's only so much we can do about it. And we have to learn to just literally when people say, deal with it. It's like that's the really fucked up way of putting it. But essentially, what you're doing is you try new things. You try things to keep your mind at bay, and you
Keep
try
yourself accountable.
Yeah, you hold yourself accountable. Be self-aware, but not be too self-aware that you're self-obsessed.
Yeah.
And it's just a big thing too is just forgive the fact that you can't help the way you are. I mean, Matthew Perry, dude. Matthew Perry, my mom sent me. Yeah, rest in peace. My mom sent me a video of Matthew Perry talking at this. It was some type of like a TED Talk type deal, and he was pretty much like it wasn't fucking fair. I was showing up every day on set, and no one else had the fucking problems that I did. No one else had the shit in their head. No one else had this. No one else had that. I mean, he was a pillhead for a long time, and
you can tell too in the episode.
Oh yeah, when he's really thin, dude. And he has that fucking...
Oh, so at the beginning... So when he was gaining weight, he was off the pills.
Correct,
because he was eating candy, right? To fucking help with the cravings?
Probably. It's probably one of the things, because obviously that happens a lot, but I think it's just...
I'm not body shaming you, Matt.
It's just... you looking good, man. Rest in peace. It's just one of those things where I think pills just make you either not hungry or they make you lose weight naturally. I'm not really quite sure.
I lose a lot of weight when I smoke weed.
Really?
Yeah.
I will say I think I gained weight when I stopped. I mean, I definitely gained weight over the past year, but...
I wonder if it's like the depression that sets in without weed. You know what I mean?
Oh, that makes you eat?
Yeah.
Oh, where...
No, well, no.
It doesn't make you
like,
eat, but...
With weed, like, I wonder if it, like... There's, like, a book called The Body Keeps Score.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Weight gain is one of those things that happens with stress and post-traumatic stress disorder.
The cortisol that's released.
Yeah, your cortisol makes you gain weight. And so I wonder, like, if when I stop smoking weed, like, if the stress, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, starts to pile on more than it does. And then,
It probably does.
Because, like, I lost, like, 10 pounds when I started smoking this summer.
I mean, are you, like, a big munchy guy when you get high? Or?
Not really. No.
Yeah, that's probably the big thing, too, is, like, it doesn't send you to the snack jar or whatever.
Well, yeah, I know a lot of people, like, smoke and they, like, lose all self-control as far as eating goes. Like, not judging. I was about to say not judging you. And I was talking about our audience, but I guess I'm not judging that either. But for me, like, it's just, like, I'll sit there for hours and just watch TV. Or I'll listen to music. Music becomes, like, so much better for me when I'm high.
Oh yeah, music especially when you're crossed. Music, it's just like you just lay back and you're like, ugh. You just listen to it. It's like George Michael sounds fucking amazing. You're like, yeah,
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
I literally texted my mom one night when I was high as balls, and I was like, Billy Joel sets my soul on fire.
I was hoping you just wrote Billy Joel, and then it said, she's looking at her phone like,
I either texted her or called her. I was so high I can't even remember.
Billy Joel, and then a thumbs up.
I'm sitting in one of the pods at St. Joe's, like dancing in the hallway. Billy Joel. And I was just like, I got to tell my mom about how great Billy Joel is.
Like, sets my soul on fire.
He sets my soul ablaze.
Ablaze, dude. We didn't start the fire.
No, actually, no. Piano Man, I think, is overrated. It's all
really.
About, yeah, hear me. I love Piano Man. It's not a bad song.
It's the only song I listen to by him, admittedly. But that's not by like my
Only
choice.
the Good Die Young.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I love it.
That song makes my mom cry.
Only the good.
Yeah, my mom has a really sad story about that because like her first love, who was an addict, and it just runs rampant in every family member that I have. They've either dated an addict or they married an addict, either way. But he would say, if this song's true, then I'm gonna die early because the good die young, and he died early. Rest in peace. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just
that's sad.
The world's fucked up, dude. Rest in peace.
That used to
Billy
they put
Babbitt.
that on our wrestling DVD.
Only the Good Die Young?
Yeah, like they did a bunch of clips from like
like a highlight reel?
Yeah. And Only the Good Die Young.
Where did you wrestle? High school or college?
I wrestled all the way up until middle school.
Oh, word.
But I couldn't do that and hockey in high school.
Yeah.
But I was actually pretty decent at wrestling. I wasn't like gonna win any awards, but
I
could handle myself in a street fight.
Well, you're a big dude, so it's like
double blast.
It's like trying to wrestle a tree.
An ent.
It's like you're just like kind of
Renee's my hobbit.
You don't know where to start. You're just kind of
I just punched me in the throat.
Renee's my
I have
hobbit.
a really long throat. I just punched me in the
throat. You're giving away. You're like, punch me in the throat. You can hit me here.
Hit me in the balls.
I'm like taking notes. I'm like, yeah, in case we're
just in case
we're at a bar.
I'll tell you what.
Seamus grabs my ass or some shit. Like, whoa, punch you in the throat.
Come on,
just
man.
like you told me.
I thought you would just like kind of go with it.
I thought we were having fun, bro. What?
I misread the situation.
Why are you being so?
You're giving hints.
Why are you being gay, man? I'm just touching your ass, bro.
No, I said no homo.
It's like Goon. It's like, I don't want you seeing my dick. What are you, gay?
Did mommy whip up a pussy pie?
Show us your dick.
I gotta say, one of the things that really saved me when I tried something new is I went hiking with Tyler, and I'm not even kidding. We went. Credit to Tyler. We went on the anniversary of my brother's death, and we took his prayer card all the way up to the top of Katahdin.
Oh, word. I thought this was going to be like a really intense story about but that's really cool, though. I like that.
Yeah. So my whole family went to Ireland, and I stayed back to take care of the dogs, and I got somebody to watch the dogs for a few days, because they were gone for half a month. And, yeah, man, it was one of those things that I was just like... I'm good for right now.
Like this fucking guy's drinking it straight out of the bottle.
I was just like, I don't know what happened to me, but I think also what happened is the car broke down, and then I was able to get the car fixed. And
oh, weird. Because you've always said that the car stuff doesn't really make that much sense to you, so that must have been pretty rewarding when that happened, right?
Certain things about the car,
oh, sorry.
No, you're right. You're right to a sentence. Dude, I'm not going to be able to redo my fucking alternator or anything.
You can't build a transmission?
I can't, but I will tell you. So me and Tyler got into an argument, and we were he was like, we should take the highway home, and we've been having these car problems. And I was like, we should absolutely not take the highway home. I was like, if I want to break down on the interstate, where I can push this thing to a mechanic. And not have to call a tow truck or be stuck on the side of a highway where people are going 100 miles an hour.
Well, what's the difference between the interstate and a highway? I mean, the interstate meaning like 302 or some shit like that. Okay.
But he was like, but we could go further if we take the highway, and I was like,
you're like, hold on, bro.
I was like, dude, because I don't know if you knows how stressful it is to be broken down on the fucking actual highway.
Tyler doesn't know stress, dude.
Tyler knows stress, I'm sure, but this was the point before he started driving. So he probably didn't know this stress, what it's like to be broken down,
Oh yeah, and just feel completely helpless and hopeless.
Yeah. So I was just we're gonna take the interstate, and the car did break down. We lost all power steering, all electronics.
Oh, no.
The timing belt was all fucked up. But, because we were on the interstate, I found the next mechanic.
Oh, good.
So, so getting myself out of, a bind and, starting a fire in the pouring rain, I just felt accomplished that weekend.
Yeah.
Although my fucking family was I had to ask for $200 to get the timing belt fixed. But the main victory was I was able to limp that thing.
We don't talk about that.
I limped it from Millinocket all the way down to Dover Foxcroft.
Oh, wow, dude. That's Tyler country.
Yeah. And so, I think he actually knew the mechanic, so they gave us a discount.
Really, dude?
Yeah.
I love it.
You'd have to ask. We'd have to have him on here and ask.
You weren't gay before.
They're all looking at him. Something's different about you, boy.
He's got a rainbow bandana, rainbow t-shirt.
Tyler's the type of person who should be asking for direction, and I don't mean this because he's gay or anything, or talking to people, because I come off probably cold compared to Tyler, who Tyler is just hey, how you doing? I'm just I don't want to talk to you, but I have to talk to you.
Yeah, Tyler definitely goes the I'm friendly route.
Yeah, he is though.
Hello.
To a point.
Hey. Yes.
I think that we were
Could we use your car jack?
We're inverse. The more you talk to Tyler, the more you're whoa, whoa. Where the fuck did you get those ideas?
Bro, all they did was walk past you. You don't have to say something racist under your breath.
Yeah. You don't have to start a fight, Tyler. They're not gonna punch you, Tyler. They're gonna come for me. They're going to be fuck the Hobbit, we want the end.
He just says the worst possible thing imaginable, and then he just eats Oreos. He just while he's eating, he'll be like, well, you know about black people. And it's no, don't fucking finish that thought, dude.
Stop right there.
They steal everything. It's oh, you fucking shut up.
You did it. You said it.
I fucking told you to stop.
But he's way better at introductions than I am. You know what I mean?
Oh, you mean the first impression kind of?
Yeah, dude, so a second time we were up in that same park, we sprung a flat, in my mother's like BMW SUV,
Oh no,
and it's a huge gash.
not the Beamer.
The Beamer. I borrowed it specifically because I had like a beat up sedan, and I was like, it's not gonna get through.
Was this the sedan that you had in college, the Mercedes?
Yes. You're making it sound like I own very expensive cars when in fact I buy them like secondhand.
This Mercedes, it wasn't like a brand new ALS class or anything like that.
I've never owned a nice car, people. The nicest car I'm driving right now is a Saab 2009 I bought for like $5,000.
That Mercedes, it drove nice though.
It did. No, it was. Well, you know, you guys were high as shit when I drove you.
No, well.
Hang on.
Well.
That was one of our best stories.
I'm pretty sure when me and Ty were on acid, wasn't that?
Yeah, the Mercedes.
Are you sure it wasn't not the SUV that you had?
I did have a
Blazer, right?
No, it was the cop car, but it was red.
The Explorer? Escape. Oh, Escape.
Either the Ford Escape or Explorer.
Okay, excuse me.
Which was actually not that bad. I liked that ride.
Okay, because I thought we were in the S, but okay, so like when we were driving,
that was the Mercedes.
Okay.
I popped the tire. So we were reading. I don't know if I told this the last one, but we were reading to children as a lacrosse team.
Yes.
And I was late as shit, dude. And this is how I broke the Mercedes. I went. Apparently, it has like an air suspension that you're supposed to wait for it to pump up. Like you're supposed to give the car a few seconds.
Really?
Yeah. So the Saab came with it too. But the guy removed
moving the mic.
The guy removed it and put a regular suspension in. With the air suspension, it like you give it a few seconds and it rises up, so it, like the shock is not as bad.
Wow. Okay.
So I didn't wait any seconds. I hopped into the car because like little kids got to be there on time.
Gotta read.
So I did like 70 down that dirt road by St. Joe's.
Oh,
hit a fucking pothole, dude. Wrecked the tire on that. Wrecked it. And it was so rusted on. That was like the one tire I wasn't able to fucking change. Like I sat outside the parking lot for like a good 40 minutes, and finally I called my dad and brother. I was like, fucking come pick me up. I'm done.
I gotta read the kids.
I gotta read the kids. No, I made it all the way to the school on the bad rim. I was like, fuck it. Kids matter.
Kids matter, dude.
But the Beamer. So we have a huge gash in the tire. This is a brand new car. My mother lent to me just for this trip. Big gash. Renee's there. Tyler's there. I was a little mad at that point. I was like, fuck, like what? Jesus fucking Christ. But then it goes from like maybe a 4 or a 5 angry, like reasonable, to like a 10 real quick. When I open up the fucking place where the tire's supposed to be, there's no tire.
No spare?
No spare. Because it has run flat tires. So they thought that like you wouldn't need.
What do you mean run flat tires?
So these tires, like if you get a small puncture or something, they're supposed to be good for another 50 to 75 miles.
Oh, word. Okay.
So like, and I didn't check for a spare tire.
And I guess you don't need a spare tire after those 50 miles. What the
Well,
fuck?
I think they're like, oh, like you broke down in town. Like not, you broke down fucking 500 miles from the nearest. Yeah. Bangor was the nearest fucking shop.
Get a tire from Scott up the road.
Yeah, exactly. So
like Scott,
I'm at a 10. I'm at a fucking 10, dude.
I'm at a 10.
And the ranger comes and he like gives us a drive out of the park so that we can call a tow person. Tow person comes, tows the tows the BMW out. We have to leave somebody behind though, because there's only 3 seats in the tow truck.
Oh, this is the one. Didn't you leave Renee behind?
No. Are you kidding me? First off, if it wasn't my car, I would have been the one, because
right.
Like Tyler, to me, like at that point, I was like, he's a little hippy dippy. Like I was like, I don't want him.
Like I want to fucking punch this asshole in the face.
Oh no, yeah, he kept saying calm down, and I was like, the next time you say calm down to me, Tyler, I was like, I'm gonna put your head through the window.
That is him.
Because like it's not my car, and Renee needed to be back at work. Tyler needs to be back at work, so it's like all fucking falling on my shoulders.
Seamus, that's no big deal. Calm down.
Oh my God. And I'm like, Tyler, do you fucking like read the situation, bro? Read the situation. Bangor is the nearest. That's like 2 hours.
We have a problem, Tyler.
Yeah. So, but I was like, we're going to leave Tyler, because if I leave Renee, it's going to be bad. Like, you know what I mean? Renee,
for many reasons. Yeah.
So I was like, if I had a choice, I would have been the one that like stayed behind, because I was like, I'll just start a fucking fire, drink some of the beers I brought. and wait.
Was this the trip where Tyler befriended the hitchhiker?
Yes, that's where I'm going with this. This is why Tyler's so good at intros. So, dude, me and Renee cooked up a fucking great plan that I'm sure they're still talking about at the park. We rented a U-Haul from one of the hardware stores, dude.
Yes.
And I drove the U-Haul through the fucking, like, not a U-Haul pickup truck, like the box truck. I drove the box truck through Baxter State Park, no paved roads, nothing, right? So, like, we rented that. I come back, and when I get back to fucking Tyler, another reason I didn't want to leave, he had made friends. He had made friends with hitchhikers. And now the ranger, I can't say no because the rangers are always so helpful. Like, they were like, bring this hitchhiker back into town. And wherever you are, you're a lovely woman. I want you to know.
Wasn't she because it was one woman, right? And wasn't she black?
She was African, because she kept asking us about the Confederate flags up north.
Oh, and I just want to specify, I only bring that up because Tyler befriending a random black person on the side of the road, it's like, I don't fucking know.
She had hiked all the way up there from, like, fucking the deep south.
Oh, was she doing, like, the Appalachia shit?
Yeah, but she was, like, homeless at the same time. Oh, she told us.
Like a backpacker.
Yeah. So, like, I mean this respectfully because she had hiked this distance. So, like, obviously, she smelled terrible. Fucking terrible. Right? Like, and it was only because she was, like, hiked that. Like, that's not a fucking statement on her personal hygiene.
And it's like the Hermit remained clean. You can't remain clean, and you hiked through 10 different states.
I understand that more than, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm stationary, I can set up a shower. But, like, if you're on the move, you're just gonna get filthy anyway the next day. You might as well just wait until you get, like, some time off to take a shower.
You're in small town like Maryland, and it's just like you get held up, and she's like, "Give me all your soap." Give me all your Suave.
But Tyler had made friends with this chick, dude, and I had to drive her all the way back into town. So back to, like, Tyler is good at making friends.
You're like, trying not to smell.
I'm just like glancing at Tyler. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I don't have enough shit on my fucking plate right now.
And Tyler's just what? We're looking at you like with his fucking big ass
I'm
eyes.
like trying to do 72 all the way back to fucking Bangor. Like, I'm really pushing this box fucking truck to its limit. And Tyler's like, dude, you don't have to worry. Like Renee is in the car with a random fucking tow driver. Like,
right. That's what I was asking about. Were they following you?
No. So she took off with the BMW and the tow driver.
Right. So she did end up alone at one point.
What?
She did.
Yeah. Sorry. Yes. I left her alone in a different situation, which I wasn't pleased about, but at the same time, I thought would be better than leaving her with a fucking alone in the essentially like a wilderness. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, Tyler has wilderness skills. I was like, the only thing I'm worried about with Tyler is him getting too fascinated with nature, wandering off, or like getting eaten by a black bear.
He'd see a bird and follow it.
Yeah. Not that I like. He has. He would
take the nest and be like, "Look what I found."
But it had started raining too, so I was like, "Oh shit! I really got to get Tyler out of there now."
He's gonna melt.
Goddamn witch!
Fucking gay people melt in the rain.
Everybody knows that. But
it's well documented.
Like, yeah, Renee's in the fucking thing with a random cab, like tow truck driver, and like I don't know who she took off with. Like I don't have a face, a number, or whatever. So like I'm freaking out. I'm like, dude. Like, if something happens to her, her parents are going to fucking, like, hunt me down and kill me. So, like, I was fucking pushing that thing as, like, they must have had a governor plate on it because I couldn't get it past 70. And I couldn't get anything on the radio either, which was pissing me off.
Really, dude?
Yeah, like, up north, you get, like, nothing. Like, you get sports and, like...
not even, like, BLM or some shit?
No, I don't think
Frank, the blimp
exists up north in any form. Except for the Bureau of Land Management.
So they just like all these people just sit around and they listen to fucking sports talk radio for
Vermont's the same way.
For sports that they'll never be able to go see because they live 8 hours away from the fucking place.
Well, they go to Orono. Watch.
That's a very good point.
Orono's got great
the Black
hockey.
Bears. Yeah,
Swayman.
Swayman, and Gus Nyquist and Ben Bishop
and Howard.
Yeah, Jimmy Howard. You're right. That's right.
Whatever happened to Jimmy?
Jimmy. I don't know what fucking happened now. He's somewhere. He's somewhere, dude.
He was a great goalie for like a few years. That's how these works with the goalies. Is they're really good for a few years, except for like Lundqvist and Rask and
Price and
Price. Yeah, but Price is too
Hasek.
injury.
Yeah. Price is he's had to retire. He's joined the Shea Weber type shit.
Yeah, and
Wah.
Jimmy just had a few good years where he was like fucking. It was hard to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, he was a part of that, wasn't he? Was it him or Osgood?
Osgood, I think, because I remember the helmet.
Yeah, Osgood had the classic helmet. Yeah.
And
Marc-Andre Fleury beat them as a rookie.
Marc-Andre Fleury is probably another consistent goalie I'd put in. He can have his inconsistent moments.
This year, he's got like a .879 save percentage.
I say that. But he's been in the league long enough where we can probably excuse.
And he's not supposed to be the starter, so yeah.
Why? I don't understand. So he, like, every year they're like, oh, we don't want Fleury to be the starter. And then, like, every year he becomes the starter for, like, some team and fucking plays phenomenal.
I will say that, yeah, when he got to Vegas, he was the head guy in Vegas, the second he got there. And then I think there may have been some unrest, so they brought in Lehner, and Robin Lehner was good, but then now Lehner's hurt, and Lehner can't play. And Lehner actually got fucking in trouble with Border Patrol, when he moved to Vegas because he had all these fucking snakes.
I remember that! I think either you sent that to me or sent that to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even realize it was the goalie, but I was just like, what the fuck?
Like Robin Lehner's visa was held up because they had to approve the snakes he had in his fucking house.
That's a fucking weird hobby to me.
Snakes? Yeah, dude.
I hate snakes. Is probably, like, I know I said Red Dead Cougars are my number one. Snakes are my number one. I'm so glad we live in a cold climate where we have, like, just non-poisonous snakes.
Yeah, I mean, at least with snakes, at least with cougars in Red Dead, there's like a pretty wide body to shoot at.
Yeah.
The snake, it's like fucking.
No, I'm talking real life. Like, I went down to Florida and I was still smoking. And we were there to see my grandmother, and I was like, gonna go outside to smoke, dude. And my father was like, watch out for the copperheads. I was like, excuse me, what the fuck are you talking about?
Don't fucking say that to me.
Yeah, dude, he's like, they hang up. I thought he was like fucking with me because we do that sometimes. We'll like make up facts and be like, oh, you know that bears can like fucking absorb you through their asshole. Like, just to freak people out.
Bears can own and operate an AR-15.
The right to bear arms.
Yeah.
But like, he's like, dude, they hang up in trees and they like hop down on you like while you're in like underneath them. Yeah, this is true. Like, everything he said was true. Like, again, I was like, dude, my dad fucks with people so hard. He told my cousin when the Red Sox signed Daisuke. Yeah. Right. He like tried to. He like is a master of misinformation. He's like. Because my cousin was so fucking excited. He's like, people are moving from Japan and buying houses in Boston just to watch Daisuke pitch, like saying crazy shit.
What?
So my dad goes, you know, Daisuke's grandfather bombed Pearl Harbor, right? Right? He's like, no. He's like, oh, yeah. He told like 16 people that Daisuke's grandfather bombed Pearl Harbor. And that's not true, folks. He didn't.
It's just like Tom Segura's dad when he told Tom Segura, he's like, you know, Billy Bob Thornton's gay. And Tom Segura went and told people for years on his way through comedy, he was like, you know, Billy Bob Thornton's gay. And then one day he got famous enough that he met someone and he said that, and he was like, no, he isn't. Like, I know him personally. He's not gay. And he was like, where'd you hear that? And he goes, my dad.
That's exactly. So, like, when he's saying this shit, dude, like, I didn't believe it. Like, the first thing I did was I pulled up Wikipedia. And I was like, oh, fuck, bro. He is not lying at fucking all. My,
they fucking drop on you from the trees?
Yeah, dude. And the scary thing about snakes is, like, with a bear, like, you know what I mean? Like, you can be like, ah, dude, that guy's fucking the shit, dude. He's manly as fuck. He went out fighting a bear. The snake just drops on you, dude. You're dead. You're dead.
Is that what people think when people?
I don't think the only person I don't think.
Bear.
Well, like, I'm just saying, what sounds cooler? He got bit by a snake, or like he fought a bear to the death?
He fought a bear,
like in the fucking Revenant.
Like the Revenant, dude.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I know that sounds like toxic masculinity. You shouldn't want to die either way, but if I'm going to die, I want to die in a cool way. Like, you know what I mean? I want people to be like, whoa, that guy was metal.
That guy was metal.
Like, dude,
I feel like most people, like, the second the bear bites into you, it's like every game plan flies out the window.
Oh, yeah, no, dude, like, I am no way, like, oh, he put up a good fight. Like, he just tried. He tried his best. Once the bear bit his arm, he started swinging like a girl, like, ah!
He at least swung and he whiffed, but you gotta respect the fact
you
that
gotta
he
respect the moxie, the grit, the Rocky shit, you know? He knew he wasn't gonna win that fight.
Dude, you imagine you're getting mauled by a bear and you get this little window and you're like, I can do it, and you fucking swing and you whiff. And you're like, fuck!
Oh, I have, like, no doubt, like, you know what I mean? Like, a bear, like, could take me out, like, in a second. In a second. Like, I'm not one of those fools, like,
I could take a bear.
I could take a bear. Like, yeah, no. But, like, at the same time, I would rather die by bear attack.
And snake bites get pretty ugly, too.
Yeah, dude. But they swell up and you're, like, sick.
Yeah, but, I mean, is the whole sucking venom out of it, is that a real thing?
Myth.
Myth?
Hard myth. And you can, like, actually cause yourself to, like, get poisoned.
Oh, you mean like the person sucking the venom out? Yeah.
There's a whole episode of Archer about that where he gets bit by a cobra in the desert and in the taint.
In the taint?
Yeah, dude. And he's like turning to his like squad mates and he's like, hey, suck my taint. I need the poison out. And like they exploit it like in... I already knew it was a myth at that point. Like that was like just an old cowboy fucking Western legend.
A lot of these myths start in movies too.
A lot of myths, yeah. But I don't know if that one's... I might have been like just a myth from like the old timers out west. Like
that's true. Who really knows where a myth really starts?
And then like somebody told a movie producer like, this is what I did to save my friend, and like it worked.
I sucked his dick. They're like, oh, okay. And he's like, I meant snake bite. Oh, okay.
I feel like, dude, when you get bit by a snake, like it's the Bill Burr thing. Like, were you fucking with it? Like, what were you doing? Like with a bear, like there's a like, you know what I mean? I was just minding my business out here in the open. The bear had a cub.
Unless the fucking what you said, the copperhead drops from the trees, and you're just hanging out.
Even then, I would have questions. I'd be like, "What the fuck happened here?
Like, what tree were you under?"
Exactly.
Well, you should know better.
Not even like that. I'd just be like, "Cause like,
well, if you
were gonna forensic it, like, hey, it dropped. Listen, I got snake slime like 16 feet above. Clearly, what happened here is she was nesting, and this idiot walked underneath."
You're like, you were asking for it.
I guess you could do the same, like, why were you attacked by a bear? Like, what's going on here? But, like, I feel like attacked by a bear or a cougar is, like, way more random.
Cougar, it's like there's no, like, you're just walking.
You're just walking.
And then it's like, ow.
Bear, there is definitely, like, there was that film fucking dude who was, like, tracking a family of bears.
Dude, yes, and they mauled him.
Yeah, so one of me and Renee's biggest... Again, this is what I classify as our fights, like, about stupid shit. One of our biggest fights is, like, Steve Irwin.
Okay. What do you mean?
I think he's a lovely man. I think he did a lot for conservation. I think he's also stupid as shit, dude. He's fucking with these dangerous animals.
Oh,
and then people like that, like,
look
think
at
that
the teeth on that thing. They're right in front of my face.
People think that they can go live with the bears. You can't. You cannot live with the fucking bears, you hippie granola crunching fucks. All right? They will fucking eat you up and shit you out. And you're doing a disservice to the bears because if I was a bear, I'd eat you and shit you out. And I'm just going to get killed because you're fucking bothering me. Those bears had to be put down, dude. The bears that he loved so much.
Wait, the bears got put down?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. They had to hunt because they now fucking are killing people. So they're like, anytime you feed a bear in the park, like, and the bears like seem dependent on like people like giving them food and shit, they have to relocate them. They can only relocate them so many times before they have to put them down because it's dangerous.
Imagine like the wife's like, he killed my husband. I want you to kill those. And the park rangers are like, okay, like your husband was fucking living with them.
I mean, like, yeah, that one case, there's probably some leeway.
He rolled over and one night beat off next to them because he didn't think they'd notice, but they noticed.
The guy's a fool.
And they killed him.
And that's like, I equate that to the Steve Irwin people. Like, they're like, oh, bleh. Like, and I come from like the hunting fishing school. Like, hey, that's cool. Let me observe it from a fucking distance or behind a scope.
Well, I don't know how any of that shit works. So I don't know like how stingrays work. I don't know.
Do you think the crocodiles were pissed? They were like, fuck, bro, that was our market.
They're like, dude, we've been trying to get him for years. The thing about stingrays, dude, like, is it one of those things where it's like you stay the fuck away from them, or was it a freak accident? I don't know anything.
I don't know anything about stingrays either. Like, it's not like unless it's something you can catch on a reel and rod. I'm not like
right. You're not really
over it.
Yeah,
I understand like jellyfish and shit, but like I'm not like studying their eating habits and how they interact with humans.
Right. The only thing I know about jellyfish is you gotta piss on the fucking sting.
That is a myth.
Another myth?
Another myth.
Damn it, friends lied to me.
I know. I fucking know.
Unreal. All the people I've pissed on are gonna be
You think
fucking
like urine
pissed.
fetish people are just like hanging out by like jellyfish and they're just like, oh no, you
Uh-oh.
hot woman, come piss on me.
Piss on me. I'm hard now.
Why do you have a boner?
I need a- no
I've
re-
lost all neurological control.
What are you looking at? No reason. What's your name? Do this later?
Yeah, I just think that like nature is lovely. You should all get out in it, but leave it alone. Let the fucking things be that need to be. Unless you're fishing or hunting or like, you know what I mean? Where you're like active and like even then you like you have a lot of space between you and the fucking shit that you're after. Like you're just not doing with nature any services.
Just know when there's a chance that you're going to get stung by a stingray and just don't put yourself in that scenario.
And Renee is like huge Steve Irwin. Like this guy is awesome and he did it for the...
Well, and I do love Steve Irwin. I think there's, it depends on, like I said, I haven't done any research on what happened. So, I mean, I could be contributing to something that's incorrect.
At any point in that dude's career, he was going to die. At any point.
You think?
Oh, fucking for sure. You are fucking with a crocodile / alligator who has not evolved because it doesn't need to in the last like million years because it's still a dinosaur.
This is probably a bad example. I mean, people in like parts of Asia, like when they have like zoos and they have like alligator or crocodile and they like fucking feed them in their flip-flops and shit. And I guess what you're probably going to say next is, well, how many of them die every year? And I would say, I don't know.
Like the guests feed them in their flip-flops and shit?
No, like the people working.
I mean, like, honestly, depending on like the region in Asia, I would like say that they had like a healthier respect for what's going on than most Americans. And like,
That's fair.
Like in Africa and shit. Like these are not things to play with. These are things to respect and to fear. And to use to fucking put meat on the table, etc., etc.
Fuck away from them,
etc. Exactly. Like if you don't have an active role in the ecosystem, observe from afar.
It's like the people. I'm sorry, I cannot fucking stop yawning for my life.
I'm sorry, I'm boring you.
No, dude. I'm probably still hungover as I drink, but it's one of those things where like I've seen the videos where people they have like bear foundations or what the fuck are they called?
The Tiger King.
Tiger King.
That is what he was doing. Dude.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
I use that line like every day. Like I buy something on Xbox Live, I'm like, I will never financially recover from this.
Dude, Trump had the chance to pardon him and he didn't.
I don't think he deserved. Nobody in that situation deserved a pardon. Carole Baskin killed her husband. I'm convinced.
You are?
I'm sure there's evidence now that says that she didn't because everybody's interested, but like that woman was unwell.
I'm sure there's evidence now that it's not true, but I disagree.
I do. That woman's unwell. Have you seen her eyes?
Oh no, she's definitely got weirdo eyes. I think the second season, as pointless as it was, the only reason why the second season was like worth it was because they interviewed like all the people that her husband knew down south in South America, and like all the people were like, yeah, he did some crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
he fucked little girls. Like, I guess they were trying to say that he was like a pedophile.
Oh, that's definitely her trying to weave shit.
Well, no, that was
his friends.
Yeah, his friends were saying that about him. Which who knows who the friends were? Who knows how much the friends were paid? I don't really know. Who knows how it was cut? But they're pretty much saying that he liked to go down to South America, and that he knew, I guess he knew some people in South America that were dangerous. That he may have owed money to, and that's what the second season was pretty much trying to nail home, was that it was most likely that he got wrapped up in some organized crime and, as Trump would say, Puerto Rico.
She
no, but she's definitely whack. Yeah,
she irks me.
And her she's definitely whack, and her new husband's annoying.
Her new husband is like the definition of like soy boy.
Well, and it's definitely like, I have no disrespect for someone who's like, in a submissive state, because that's clearly what she wants and clearly that's what works for him. But I I think he's stupid and he's naive. I think that's
which
is all wrapped up into it.
There's a difference
I think.
between like, you know, a logical fucking well put together woman and fucking batshit crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Being led by somebody who has an idea of what's going on is different than being fucking led around by a crazy person.
Well, she just likes the power.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, she wants to be the only place where you can view tigers. Like, I'm sorry. Explain to me why they live better with you.
If you really fucking loved big cats,
right, like,
then you wouldn't want them fucking
caged up.
Yeah, in America, you'd want them in their own fucking spot.
I mean, like, you could make an argument like death is better than being caged as a big cat, dude. Like, you know what I mean? You're supposed to be fucking the alpha predator of the fucking world.
And you're just hanging out, eating.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Eating
like,
human
I would want
remains.
to be put down personally. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fuck it. She doesn't let him breed or anything. So essentially, you've taken everything that this animal is about reproducing, fucking massive game kills, like, you know, and you've you've
reduced it to like reduced it to pretty much like an object of viewership, an object of
Fuck that, dude. I wouldn't want that. There's a reason wolves don't perform in the circus.
Oh yeah. Because one of them looked around one day and they're like, "What the fuck are we doing?"